my god, we can totally make one of these.
I don't even think I'm enjoying this.
No, I like it.
And we did, and it's fantastic.
I adore this game. It is perfect.
The following is brought to you by loudspeak.com.
Episode 189 of the ChairShot Podcast is here yet again. You didn't hear the first bit because I messed it up because of the recording, and it ain't my fault. I'm just a hungover sick boy. Leave me alone. I'm Barry. That's Joe. That's Paul. Anyway, that was raw. Let's get on with our life. Anyway, no, lads, what's going on?
Alright.
We were discussing our noses in the original edit.
Barry can't breathe. Me and Paul are doing okay on the nose front.
Mm-hmm. Joe's got kind of a broad nose. Mine sort of is a bit pointy uppy, like a bit of a pig nose.
Like a bit of a...
I can't picture Barry's nose right now.
My nose is very generic. It's very uninspiring.
It's generic nose.
I'm looking at it in the front-facing camera now on the phone, and it's fairly nondescript. Fairly nondescript. Yeah. I got good nose genes, I guess. Yes, listeners, slow news week. We're here to talk about... Oh, wait, no, not a slow news week. It's funny that I said that because it's actually been a fairly mental news week. We've got a lot...
You're just not with it this week.
I'm not with it in the slightest.
Not at the races.
I've gotten no sleep. I've gotten the distractions and that.
Well, in the word of Radiohead, you do it yourself.
Oh, I thought you
other people do it to me, mate. Other people do it to me. I mean, there's no surprises here with this. I mean, is there really? I mean, come on.
No. I've got a gash in my leg.
Yeah, you keep showing me pictures of that. Thanks for that, by the way. What is it?
How did you do that?
I was in the shed, getting all my I think I didn't talk about this last week. Getting my all my Xbox 360 games, all my Wii games, all my PS3 games. They're all out in the shed.
Okay.
Obviously, that was since we moved back down here. They'd been in storage, so I went to go get them all back out. And they're all kept in these, quite large plastic containers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stockpile heavy boxes like this on top of one another, invariably what happens is the lids of the boxes break. And when the plastic breaks like that, it snaps. It's very sharp. So I was walking in and out trying to grab these games, and one of them cut me across the calf.
Ugh.
And it's like I've got a little trench now where the cut is. It's like it's healing essentially, but where I was cut there's now a little groove, and it's sort of nice to run my finger along. But yeah, I've been Snapchatting it, pictures of it to people.
I was alerted that some of my Snapchats that I sent last night didn't send, which is disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think I got any from you.
They were good ones, mate.
I bet.
They were good ones, mate. Oh. Anyway, if you're on the Snapchat, by the way, be sure to add us all. We are WWE on Snapchat. They actually do have a Snapchat. I haven't added them.
Send us whatever you got.
We should do a communal CSP Snapchat, where if people want to see whatever Joe taking a shit or Paul in the shower, they can get their fix.
Sounds a good idea.
I abstain from this.
I don't know if you can have multiple Snapchat accounts though on like a phone.
Nah,
can you
probably have to log out and log back in again.
No, yeah, too much effort.
Yeah,
it's
too much effort. Not worth it.
Skip it.
Also, a terrible idea. Anyway,
we'll go back to tout.
I was trying to delete the CSP Twitter from my phone today. I couldn't do it.
Why? Because
I'm trying to delete our Twitter.
Because what happens is on whatever way it works with iPhone, is fair enough. All the notifications whenever one of Joe's brilliant tweets gets retweeted 50 times. That's fine. I can live with that. But what happens is, I don't know if it happens on your guys' phone, but you get these sort of, your friends have all followed this person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
you're
can
like,
turn
oh.
that off. Yeah, it's
And
very annoying.
on CSP, it's got like 2,000 followers. So it's always like, these people you don't know follow this person you don't know. And you're like, get away from me.
By the way, I think we've discussed this on the show before, but for the record, I am not, nor have I ever been on the ChairShot Podcast Twitter. I don't. I talk to whichever one of the lads is tweeting, and I very much enjoy it. I never tweet from that account for whatever reason. I guess we just decided I'd do enough of that on my own thing. But yeah, I see Joe. I assume it was Joe was indulging in some Rumble nostalgia.
Yeah.
Of late.
Trying to bone up on all the old ones. For next year when we have another Royal Rumble trivia competition.
Yeah.
I will defeat Barry next year, don't worry.
I can't even remember if I did win. Yeah, by the skin of my teeth. Yeah, guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So when is the 1, 2, 3 weeks? 3 weeks, I guess.
Really? That'll be February. 3 weeks is February.
Oh, well, 2 weeks then.
Yeah, must be 2 weeks. The Royal Rumble. Batista's in the Rumble. So
Yeah, that's happening. Excited.
look forward to that.
So yeah, I'm thinking, unless we have any features that I'm not aware of, I think we should go straight into movie guff this week. Who has seen some movies?
I've seen.
Oh wait, I have. You have
So
too.
Paul, probably.
Well, we all have.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies.
Go on.
Will I begin?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've seen two new movies and 2 old movies. So we started on Friday afternoon. Went to the cinema to see this new movie that everyone's raving about, American Hustle, starring Bradley Cooper, Christian Bale, Amy Adams,
John Cena.
Jennifer Lawrence. There's no John Cena in it.
No,
So-
Oh, he's an American Hustle to loyalty and respect.
Yeah. That's a prequel, I think, where he. I don't know what he does. 'Cause John Cena doesn't really apply to that movie in any way.
Well, he's a con man, isn't he?
Well, they're both sort of mediocre and average, so I guess maybe it does. Yeah, everyone's loving this movie, American Hustler, right? So I'm going in thinking.
I
Okay,
don't think everyone's loving it. I've seen some.
I would say the vast majority of people are praising it.
No, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's got all the Oscar noms and all that.
You're always going to get some, people
BAFTA noms,
being
Globe
contrary.
noms.
Well, I mean, it's David O. Russell, and I saw The Fighter was the last of his I saw, and I thought that was
very good.
pretty good, really good.
Yeah.
It also had Christian Bale and Amy Adams in. So I had high enough expectations. I wasn't exactly expecting, top tier stuff. I was expecting a fun, wacky movie, and to an extent it was, but it was a very flawed movie. I would say it was good, but not great. Christian Bale is excellent in it. Amy Adams is excellent. I think she's probably my favorite active actress in the business. I think she's really good in everything I've seen her in. She was great in The Fighter. She was really great in The Master. I think she would have got the Oscar was it not for Anne Hathaway in Les Mis that year. I thought she was super in The Master. She was good in Muppets as well, though Muppets wasn't exactly a tough, gritty crime thriller. But then neither was American Hustle, really. Jennifer Lawrence is really not very good in this movie. She sort of borders on.
She's so down to earth and quirky, Paul.
I know she is.
Don't you just love when she says something about a hamburger or something?
Well, I love when anyone
She's
says
just
anything
like
about a
me.
hamburger. Hamburger always perks up my ears.
I want to see. I'm gonna get the Blu-ray of American Hustle, and there's just like this deleted scene where someone like drops a slice of pizza, and she's like, "What 5-second rule?" and she eats it off the floor like a pig.
Yeah. I realised that all the characters in this movie are very exaggerated and almost comical. It's sort of almost a half comedy of a movie, but her character almost borders on like an SNL character, if you know what I mean, where it's I come from New Jersey, so I talk like that, and it's all very in your face and annoying.
Is that not
Like
how
the
it
Big O.
works?
Like the Big O almost. The big O.
Is that a sexual thing? Or?
Barry's already forgotten the big O, Joe.
He
CSP
didn't
Wrestler
know.
of the Year 2000.
He didn't know the big P either.
Yeah, it's a cult.
I still don't know who the.
What about the big Q, Barry?
I still don't know the big P. Fuck's sake.
Anyway, what's your man? Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper isn't very good in this either. He looks too much like Dustin Diamond. I couldn't get that out of my head when I was watching it. He looks exactly like Dustin Diamond in this movie.
Oh, he's making shitty porn.
Yeah. It does a good job of being sleazy and dirty, but I don't know. It's frankly, it's a little bit of a mess. There's no standout scene at all, really. It's all very sort of average. And then, not to spoil the ending, I won't spoil the ending at all, but everything sort of is too neatly wrapped up for a movie that is so dirty in content. It's like, oh, and everything's wrapped up in a nice little bow. And you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'd give that like a high 6, low 7. So I guess a 7 out of 10 for American Hustle. I've heard people saying that this will probably win the best picture Oscar this year. Which, if it does, is probably the worst movie to win it in.
Worse than Crash.
It's about maybe not as bad as. I didn't mind Crash, honestly. I thought
I
Crash
haven't seen this film, but it does not look like Oscar.
Crash. I thought Crash was fine. I think the outrage of Crash was that it won Best Oscar when it was like a fine film. It wasn't a super film. Therefore, it gets hated for it.
Shite.
I didn't think it was shy. I thought it was okay. It was very very broad about its theme about races. It was very hitting you over the head with it. But I thought it was okay.
Crashing you over the head with it.
If you didn't like Crash, it would definitely be the worst since Crash. If you thought Crash was okay, I don't know what would be the worst before then, but it would definitely be the worst picture to win Best Oscar of the last decade or two. So we followed American Hustle up with sort of a thematically similar movie with Goodfellas, which I'd never seen before.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I thought Goodfellas was excellent. Of course it is.
There's a film for you. There is a film.
Goodfellas is a really good film. I came up with people might have seen on my Twitter. I came up with one of the best puns I ever come up with. I really ought to see more films with Ray Liotta.
If that's one of your best, then Jesus.
That is a superb pun, and I'm not gonna.
Ray Liotta.
Yeah, like Ray Liotta.
I didn't even think of the really bit. I just thought you were saying Otta, and then was just saying Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta.
No, because it's not. Because who says Otta?
A lot of people say Otta.
Yeah, no, they say Otta.
Yeah, Ray Liotta.
With a lovely U and a GH in there in the middle.
Well, depends on your accent, I suppose.
Not one of your best, or possibly one of your best, but that doesn't make it any good.
Okay.
Ray Liotta's good though.
Ray Liotta's
good in Grand Theft Auto.
The only thing I'd seen him in before I watched this movie was an episode of Family Guy that I don't remember.
God, you're such scum.
I know. Well, he's not been in a lot of good movies.
He hasn't been in that many good movies.
Yeah, well, what else?
He was in one of those Guy Ritchie ones, for fuck's sake.
What else has he even been in? Do you know? I think it was either on tonight or last night. It was the Miami Vice reboot with Colin Farrell.
Good.
I don't know why I brought that up. It was on my mind.
That was Michael Mann. What did he direct recently? Did he do? I'm going to look Michael Mann.
He made Collateral, was one of my favorites. That's a good film.
I like. Yeah. I love Collateral. Miami Vice was a shite.
Surprisingly good PSP game though.
Oh really?
Yeah, it is. Like it's just like really good, like third-person action game on PSP. It's really good. Anyway, Ray Liotta.
Anyway,
Goodfellas is a classic. Yeah.
Everyone's probably seen Goodfellas except for me.
Didn't win Best Picture though, of course.
No. What beat it out that year?
Dances with Wolves.
Oh really? Kevin Costner? Okay. Don't know. I've not seen that one either, so I can't judge.
I was gonna say I've never heard. Well, I have heard of it, but I have no idea what it's about other than.
But
Wolves.
Goodfellas was probably the best ensemble film since I saw Glengarry Glen Ross. And I think I prefer Glengarry Glen Ross honestly to Goodfellas.
Who's in that one?
Al Pacino, Kevin Spacey, Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin,
of course.
ABC, always BBC.
Jack Lemmon. Like all five of those give top level performances. It's really insane. Oh, Glengarry Ross is super movie. Barry, get on that.
Average.
No, you, Aaron.
Average at best.
No, it's not average best. Don't listen to him, Barry.
Next, what else have you watched?
So Goodfellas was really good.
Yeah. Pesci, De Niro, Liotta.
Really, really good fellas.
I thought Joe Pesci was probably the best of the bunch of them. I thought he was outstanding. De Niro, of course. For a film that, to me, was always referred to as sort of a De Niro movie. It's not really.
No, I don't think so, no.
He's just the biggest,
it's a Liotta
biggest
movie.
star, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I own it as part of a De Niro box set, so...
Yeah,
Well, he's
it's
in
not
it,
really.
and he's on the cover.
He's front and centre on
He's
the
the
cover.
star. There's no one else who's in it who's big.
Yeah. I thought the wife was really good as well, I must say. Don't remember the actress's name.
Lorraine Bracco.
Whoever played his Liotta's wife, I thought she was really good in it.
Lorraine Bracco.
Well, whoever that is, I don't know who that is.
I can't remember her name, but yeah.
Bracco.
Yeah.
Bracco were good.
Yeah,
And,
Rock well done.
Yeah, I mean, violence it wasn't overly violent, I'd say. But when there is violence, it
Was that overly really good fellas?
no, but I mean, it wasn't.
All the fellas getting shot in the head.
No, but I mean, there was rare moments of violence, and the violence that was there was very shocking
Yeah,
and
that's
explicit.
true.
But it wasn't like
It
constant.
wasn't
You know
gratuitous.
what I mean? Exactly. Which is the way violence should be. It should be used not so often, and when you do it as violence. So it's impactful.
Well, I mean, unless you're going for indulgent mentalness, which
Well,
has
of course,
its own
but
merits.
I'm just talking about in general here.
Yeah.
Like Kill Bill, I didn't like, but then I liked The Raid, so I guess it depends.
Yeah, Kill Bill. I like Kill Bill, but I can see how people wouldn't like Kill Bill.
So watch Goodfellas. Give that a 10 out of 10, probably.
Yeah, classic.
Top marks for Goodfellas. And then I Saturday morning watched 12 Years a Slave, which probably won't win the Best Picture, but probably should win the Best Picture if you're going to compare it to American Hustle. Yeah, really good movie, really, really good. It reminded me of a lot of those old Southern movies, like the way it was shot. It didn't look like a modern movie, if that makes any sense. They had nice establishing shots that were all very calm and very nice looking to sort of contrast with the beating of slaves and all that malarkey going on way back then. Oh, what are you doing, lads? Give it a break, would you?
Says that he's quoting Lincoln.
I've not seen Lincoln. I think that's the script. Wow.
I was referring to the person, not the film, but whatever.
I was aware, Barry. I was aware. Yeah, there's definitely a few Oscars floating around with this one, I think. The two leads, the man and the woman with the impossible to pronounce names. I'm gonna give it a go here. 12 Years a Slave.
Oh God, this is gonna be good. I would imagine this is more likely to get. Not having seen either of them, seems much more like it's Oscar territory.
Well, it should be because it's a much better film.
Long, slavery, Brad Pitt.
There is an element of, there's Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
When you
I
see him
thought that
pop
even
up.
watching the trailer. I was like, Fight Club.
Yeah, it's Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Chiwetel
So Chiwetel, California. Okay.
Yeah, and Lupita Nyong'o. They'll probably get Oscars because they were superb. Michael
or the
Fassbender
Academy
was
might
very
just be
good
like,
too.
"Look, no one's gonna be able to pronounce that, so we won't go with that. we don't want any awkward scenes.
Fassbender was good too, but he was a bit too energetic, if you know what I mean. Like it was, I related to when I saw them. Did either of you see The Master last year?
No.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people really loved Joaquin Phoenix in The Master, and I thought he was great as well. But I really liked Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah. No.
To me, I prefer his performance because Joaquin was very energetic.
Yeah.
But Philip Seymour Hoffman would sort of steal the show effortlessly, and there's
Bit
a
like
bit
in
of
The Fighter with Wahlberg and Bale.
and Bale, yeah. Here, Fassbender is sort of that Joaquin Phoenix role where he's very energetic and very shouting at everybody, and then it's the two leads that actually to me were better performances. So I definitely recommend 12 Years a Slave. Gave that a 10 as well, out of 10. A lot of people were saying that they were crying. Didn't get a tear out of me, but I won't take away a point for it. Because as a non-American, I feel no guilt about slavery. That's not that was a joke for all our black listeners. Slavery is bad, right? But this film is good. That should have been the tagline on the movie poster.
Yeah.
So 12 Years a Slave was excellent. Go see it. Paul Dano is really good in it, but he's not in it a lot. But he is great when he is in it. And Benedict Cumberbatch is in it as a South American, not South American, a Southern American man from Venezuela. He's very good too, but again, he's not in it so long. I think Paul Giamatti has about 3 lines in this movie, and he has a wacky beard. So go see it.
Speaking of Joaquin Phoenix, before we get into more reviews, because I know Joe's seen films, I've seen films. I want to get around to seeing Her while it's still in the cinemas, but it's just
me too.
It's not like the type of film I can bring the lads to go and see. You know what I mean? Like they like the last time I heard from them to go and see a film was Anchorman 2, and prior to that it was Man of Steel. So I don't think I'm getting them to go and see Her. So I'll probably go to see that on my own. That looks good, and it's getting really good reviews. I'd be worried just before I see it that it's maybe a little on the nose and not very subtle. Like I watched the trailer and get the impression that I can spot where this is going a mile away, or I can spot what this film is saying a mile away. You know.
Well, I've not even seen the trailer, but I'm going to sort of watch it blind probably over the week.
Yeah, maybe I'll be wrong. I mean, the critical acclaim leads me to believe it's not as predictable as flat as I might imagine. Joaquin Phoenix is good anyway. So.
And then I watched Taxi Driver. Ooh. Again for the first time. And yeah, brilliant as well. It sort of reminds me a lot of Dirty Harry. In the way it looked, and sort of with certain themes again. Although Dirty Harry is a policeman, they're both sort of vigilantes to he's a constable, Dirty Harry, I believe. And they both sort of, go against the rules and the law and take stuff into their own hands. So I thought that they were both excellent. And Taxi Driver, definitely one I should have watched before. I saw people saying it was very slow, but I didn't feel like it was slow. Really. It really held my attention for a lot of it. All of it, I would go as far as to say.
I'm rare that we're in the same boat. I'm in the Chris Blake boat. I think it's tortuous. I think it's so slow.
Oh my god, I really didn't see that. I was very interested in everything that was going on.
Maybe I should rewatch it. I wasn't really in much of a mood to watch a film of that pace. I might go back to it, but it's kind of hard to, once you've made your mind.
The only way I could see someone disliking it is if they went in expecting it to be all guns blazing, bang, bang, bang.
But not even that. I mean, it's just... I don't know. I feel like you can say a lot without saying much at all, and I think that's what Taxi Driver tries to do. It just feels... I don't know. It's just... I felt like, though, those scenes where it wasn't saying a lot, it just wasn't saying a lot. I wasn't extrapolating anything from it. But my memory of it's hazy. I've only seen it once, and I was, not really in the mood to watch it. I might revisit that someday, but yeah.
Not enough driving in it, that's the problem.
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean,
there's quite a lot of driving.
Not a single car chase.
It's no Crazy Taxi, I'll tell you that much.
One thing I liked about it as well, which wasn't really in your face, but just something I noticed while I was watching it, is there's a lot of little establishing shots of traffic lights. And then when you're watching the movie, a lot of the lighting is done in green, yellow and red.
Interesting. But it's just speaking on the nature of cars and that.
Well, no, I don't mean there's any sort of allegory to it, but it's just a little nice touch.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, that's pretty good.
I mean, I do like the it is very in that kind of 70s kind of romanticism of the big city, gritty yet kind of nice to look at in the same way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting film to look at, but I just didn't really connect with it.
I thought the Bickle character was very interesting as well, which is maybe why the slower moments I was sort of really interested to see what he was going to do, what he was going to say. Because to an extent, even although he's a psychotic sociopath, he's sort of relatable to me, and I'd imagine to a lot of people. There's certain aspects of his character, the outsider character, that some people sometimes can relate to. So I was sort of like, oh,
yeah,
okay, he's got the girl here. How's he going to mess this up? How's he going to try and win her back? How's this going to proceed? So I was like, I really, really enjoyed Taxi Driver, and again, I gave it a 10. So that's 3 10s this weekend.
Whoa.
In a row. So I'm going to wonder what the combo breaker is going to be here. I really like the music in Taxi Driver as well. That one theme they used to play again and again, the sort of
Yeah, the jazzy one.
The jazzy trumpet. I mean, it wasn't quite as kicky as the Pacific Rim. Let
the bodies hit the floor! Let the bodies hit the floor!
But it was, yeah, I really liked it. And I think the fact that I enjoyed Dirty Harry so much really... Dirty Harry is almost like a good gateway movie to then watch Taxi Driver, in a way.
Speaking of Dirty Harry, I watched a film that features Dirty Harry.
Which one?
Zodiac. Featured with Jake Gyllenhaal and Mark Ruffalo.
I've been meaning to watch that one because, as people know, I love that kind of movie.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it.
But I've not watched it yet. I
And
haven't on DVD.
last night I did. So there you go. It was very enjoyable.
I look forward to it.
Of course, Dirty Harry was partly inspired by the Zodiac killings, I believe.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough, or any, really, Clint Eastwood movies. I should probably remedy that soon.
Dirty Harry is a super movie.
Yeah, I bet I'd like it. I'd check that out. God, I've got so much stuff to check out. Not to
So
mention
what about
Boardwalk.
what's Zodiac? What sort of stuff was good about Zodiac?
It's just very atmospheric. It's obviously based on true stories, so a lot of it isn't. It's not traditional kind of thriller, although it is in a way. It's very good. Performances are good.
Well, as someone who liked Prisoners really a lot,
Yeah.
and sort of liked Mystic River,
Yeah.
movies of those kinds, is Zodiac sort of along those?
It is in a way. It's probably it's more dialogue than action. It's not a lot.
Well, Prisoners was a lot of dialogue. There wasn't much action.
Yeah, yeah. It's still quite tense without car chases or shootouts or anything. It's a lot of people trying to chase after clues and suspects. But yeah, very good.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. Do you watch anything else?
I watched a documentary called The Queen of Versailles.
Okay.
Who's that
It's
about?
quite interesting. Not the Queen of Versailles.
No.
It's about this rich couple in America that were building this replica. They're like multi-billionaires. They were building this replica of the Palace of Versailles in Florida. It was like it cost like $100 million or something. It was the biggest house in America.
Mm-hmm.
But then the big credit crunch happened, and they like lost all their money, and it sort of follows them as they sort of spiral down.
That's the type
Very
of thing it's
interesting.
hard to have sympathy for. Why
is,
would you
yeah.
do that? Like, it's so
Like
overindulgent.
the first half of the first half of the film, you're just watching them be awful and gaudy and spoil, and you know that the crash is coming, and you're like, hurry up! I can't wait for them to lose all their money. But in the end, you do feel a little bit of sympathy for them because you kind of do. It's rare that you see a film that sort of shows that super rich 1% sort of in their everyday life. So it was interesting to see how they're gonna see the world. So I recommend that.
Okay, good stuff.
I saw movie films this week.
Tell us about him, Barry.
Well, one that Paul referenced there was Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know that Barry's seen a lot of movies this week that we're going to disagree over. So instead of that, I'm just going to let him say what he thought about him and go here.
Well, ultimately, I don't think you and I are going to disagree on Prisoners because I thought Prisoners was good. So
Yeah,
we're not
it
going
is
to do it.
good.
So basically, I thought it was good. I thought it was a bit. How would I put this? I don't know. By the time I don't want to spoil anything. Never mind. Yeah, I thought it was good. It's basically kind of a child abduction sort of child abduction thriller, trying to figure out who did it. Jackman is a concerned father. I can say that without going into too much about what his character actually does. And Jake Gyllenhaal is this very weird kind of. Is it implied that he's like because he's got all these tattoos and he's got the weird hair? It's like what are they saying about his character? Is he like undercover?
I thought he was the criminal at first when he shows up.
Yeah, but
I didn't realise he was the cop.
But yeah, he plays the kind of the detective in charge of the operation, and sort of they cross.
Maybe it's to make him a loose cannon.
I guess because he kind of is. I mean, that's kind of his thing. I'm
just going to say, for the sake of spoilers, Jake Gyllenhaal might be the guy behind it. Just in case. Don't ruin the movie for people, Joe.
I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying I didn't even.
Oh, well, yeah, he might have done it. That's not
I don't think that was never implied at all, was it?
I never got that, but Joe did.
But no, I was saying that just at first I didn't realise he was a cop. He looks more like a stereotypical sort of bad guy.
As someone who never really didn't have an opinion one way or the other on Jake Gyllenhaal before this film. Actually, I thought he was pretty dang tremendous.
Have you seen
Prisoners.
End of Watch?
No.
Yeah.
End of Watch, he's super in as well. That's another. He's a cop in it as well. He's getting a little typecast. End of Watch is great as well. He's great in it.
So Prisoners is well worth a watch. Good thriller. I just felt like it was a little bit samey, given the nature of the plot. I feel like there's this one. I think this isn't really a spoiler. So basically, one of the big hooks of the film is that Hugh Jackman's character kind of plays this concerned father who kidnaps a suspect in the disappearance of his daughter and tortures him for information and how that plays. I feel like that's kind of weirdly sort of brushed aside and not. That I feel like that should almost be the plot of the film, but it really doesn't feel like it is at all. It feels like it's this very kind of standard story plays out, and that's like almost a subplot that doesn't have a very satisfying conclusion, I don't think. I was disappointed with that. Felt like it was a bit too long. It's like 2.5 hours long. I just other little issues like that just made me think, it is not. It wouldn't be film of the year territory for me or anything like that. But it was a very good watch, I thought.
Yeah, I never felt like it was too long. I realize it is long.
Yeah.
But I never felt like
there
was
bored.
something happening where it's like, all right, come on, move on with it. Come on now.
I wasn't bored, but I just feel like.
Yeah, I quite like what they say about the desperation that people go to, especially like, you can only imagine if you had kids and this happened to you. What sort of depths would you go to ensure their safety?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I enjoyed that aspect of it, and I was just disappointed that it wasn't more central. You know what I mean?
It was pretty central.
It was, but it could have been more so, I thought. Especially towards it's like it's the second half of the film. It becomes almost.
Yeah.
I don't want to say incidental. That's not the right phrase, but it kind of becomes less and less important as time goes on, and then it just becomes a kind of just a fact that we just know. Don't forget that he's also doing this. As opposed to it being the central story point, which I thought it would function well as. But I mean, these are minor issues. It was a good film.
If I was to have a criticism about it, I would say that it's a film that's played very straight, and then towards the end, not to spoil anything again, but there are certain elements of wackiness that come into play.
A little bit.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, like the certain clues that get dropped. You're like, well, it's a bit far fetched.
There are some serial killer tropes that I rolled my eyes at a little bit without spoiling them. If you've seen it, you'll kind of know they're a little bit cliche, and the ultimate reveal I thought was actually a pretty big cliche, given just.
I would say also that, and this won't spoil anything, but for people who have seen the film until the very end, I think if the film had ended 5 seconds earlier, I think that would have been brilliant. But
yeah.
we'll leave it at that.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, definitely.
The final look back, so to speak.
Yeah.
So what else did you watch, Barry?
Did
you watch the very good Pacific Rim?
Is that out? I didn't see that one.
You didn't watch what?
I didn't see the very good Pacific Rim. I must have got
that. He's done you.
Lads, Pacific Rim.
Go on, talk to me about Pacific Rim.
It
isn't.
It's
I haven't seen it.
shy.
No, it's not. Don't listen to him, Joe.
Here's the thing about Pacific Rim. Here is the thing about it. People who are going to tell you that this film is not CGI wank are kidding themselves, because it is just CGI wank. And one thing I was looking forward to going into it was I was led to believe that it was a very fun, wacky, doesn't take itself seriously plot, but there was aspects of that, and I was like, I'm liking these scientist guys. They're silly and they're funny, but they're almost played straight. Like it's really good balance of that. Everyone else, every other character to me came off as just badly written and just schlocky action movie nonsense, not to the enjoyable degree. And the other my other big disappointment was the work rate of these monsters and robots. Was not thrilled at all. It's a lot of very slow, dramatic. Perhaps it plays out better on the big screen, or if I was watching on a big telly or a Blu-ray or something like that. but some of the novelty I think is lost by not seeing it in the cinema. The fights are not done in the name of coolness, which in a movie about lizards and giant robots fighting each other, that is what I want. They are done for dramatic effect. And it wasn't very dramatic because it's a big silly thing about a robot fighting a giant crab man. And I felt like oh god, it's so cringy. The way they operate their robots is like they create this link between the pilot's brains, and they like see each other's memories, and it's like you and the co-pilot have to bond and have a close personal bond for it to work, and they're creeping into each other's heads and seeing all their traumas, and it's like, oh god, this is so like A, cringy and lame, and B, so let's move the plot forward by having people literally peer into each other's consciousness and see their problems. I was like, oh, why is Idris Elba in such few good things? This, Thor, Mandela, because he's dead now, so he ruined that.
Thor was good.
It's probably good, yeah.
Thor 2.
But yeah, look, I feel like
Prometheus.
that there should be no distinction made between this and Transformers, basically.
I wouldn't go that far. I much prefer this to Transformers. I didn't like Transformers at all.
Yeah. Well, neither did I. Didn't like it particularly, but you know.
And I'm generally, I can see how this movie would divide people, but then I'm a mark for big monster movies.
Yeah, but so am I.
Even apparently not. Apparently you aren't.
I was the biggest Godzilla and dinosaur fan. I collected a magazine that was like just dinosaur magazine.
So did I. And you made your T-Rex model.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was great.
I collected all them.
And
too.
I had I wore out my Godzilla VHS, 'cause, you know, Matthew Broderick and stuff.
Hank
Hank
Azaria.
Azaria. Oh jeez.
Well, we've spoken about how we all love Godzilla.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was just disappointed. I thought there was one really cool fight in Pacific Rim, which was the one that was sort of on the streets of Tokyo. Because they
was
were
Korea. I don't think it was Tokyo.
Which?
I think it was in Korea.
Oh my bad, racist.
I don't think it was in Tokyo. With the boat, was it?
Yeah, because they're doing things like picking up boats and like aircraft carriers and battering each other over the heads of them. That's cool. Everything else is like the vast majority of the fights are in the water, and it's like it feels so. Let me think. What's a good comparison? I don't know. It's just so much of it feels like I said, it feels like it's done for dramatic effect as opposed to done in the name of having a spectacular fight, which I think there are very few of in the actual film. And that was my ultimate disappointment. I could forgive the plotness. The plotness?
I would.
The plot silliness.
The platitude.
Yeah, the platitude.
I would say that for a movie about giant robots fighting giant space alien mutant things, it probably doesn't do it justice to watch it on a 14-inch laptop screen.
Yeah.
Of course, I watched it in IMAX, 3D IMAX, sitting quite close to the screen, so I was all like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, see, I really
guy.
did want to go and see it in the cinema because I kind of knew this would happen. Because like seeing from looking at the trailer, I was like, okay, it doesn't matter really if that's any good, but that should be something that should be seen in that way.
I think your enjoyment as well comes down to how you take the fighting as well. Like, I really liked the fights, all the fight scenes, because admittedly the acting, anytime a human is on screen, it's mostly nonsense. But you know, I mean, it's schlock, like Barry said. But I mostly like schlock anyway, so I didn't mind.
Yeah, like Taxi
I
Driver.
thought Ron Perlman was very good as the sort of
he was good.
black market dealer. The lead, Chris, whatever his name is, the British guy,
who
plays an American.
Generic, so generic, fucking.
Yeah, he's up there with sort of Aaron Taylor Johnson in the sort of how did they even get cast in movies
Shia LaBeouf
sort of bracket. Yeah, apparently he's retired now.
Who? Oh yeah.
Shia LaBeouf. He threw a hissy fit.
Leave the
'cause he was
memories alone.
plagiarising stuff.
Retired from what?
He's retired from public life.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, so now he's just going to live in a cave on a mountain. Yeah, I really like Pacific Rim. Anytime we go beedle-doo, I'd sort of be fist pumping in the air, going, "Yeah, go robot!" And they do it a lot. So anytime that happened, I was very happy. It was sort of like the old Batman movies where Batman would do something good and they play, or even the James Bond movies where he's about to do something and they go, boo-doo-doo-doo, and you're like, Ghost Bond! They should do that in wrestling where
They do, on
Batista's
Impact.
going to go for the Batista bomb. Batista's going to go for the Batista bomb and he does his little thumbs down and it goes, yeah, over the speakers as he's about to hit the bomb's music starts playing. Yeah, I like Pacific Rim. I understand why people don't like it. That's not a movie that I'll defend to the death because it is very flawed. But I thought it was wacky fun and I enjoyed all that. And I bought the soundtrack to it.
Well,
because that beedle-doo, which is good.
so that's I think that's movie guff for this week. I think we've covered everything extensively.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got. Well, I didn't guess. Chris Blake recently caved and finally bought The Last of Us. Started playing it, and he's loving it. He's loving it. So he's eating crow.
I bought FIFA 14 and. Oh my god! I bought FIFA 14 and a DualShock 4 controller, but I currently have no console to play it on.
Why not?
Because my PS4 is not arriving until Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, by the way, speaking of things arriving, I somehow missed the postman, and I got a little slip to the door.
What, were you throwing a brick at him?
He knocked on the door, and I paid no mind to it. I went down, there was a little slip saying, "We missed you, we're delivering a package, it wouldn't fit through your letterbox."
Oh, I hate them.
So, but the thing is, I've absolutely no idea what it could be, because I'm not expecting any late Christmas gifts. I am not expecting any. I have ordered a shirt from PWG, but it's not coming soon because they're out of stock, and plus it's a shirt, it would fit through. So I have no idea what this thing that's been delivered to me that won't fit through my letterbox is. So tomorrow, keep your eyes on my Twitter tomorrow for an update when I go down to the post office and collect it.
Maybe Kevin Steen posted himself to you. Did he miss any bookings lately?
Possibly. I mean, but the thing is, you know, he has to stock up on food in that box, and I don't know, if it will last. But but yeah. So yeah, keep your eyes locked on the old internet, because I have absolutely no idea what it is. It is quite possible it is a late Christmas gift I haven't considered, but I have absolutely no idea what it is. So yeah. Also have to go in about getting a new ATM card because I lost the old one.
Oh really?
Idiot.
I have
Clumsy oaf.
absolutely no idea because I've never.
Don't you have a wallet, Barry?
Well, here's what happened, idiot. I went to the ATM.
Idiot! I'm not the one who lost my card.
You did lose your card once, didn't you, Paul, in an ATM?
No, an ATM ate my card.
Oh, well, don't
you
give it
lost
to
it
a selfish
in the
ATM then, idiot. Anyway, I went to the ATM.
Why's he calling me an idiot?
I went to the ATM.
Just because I like Pacific Rim, but he doesn't.
ATM a couple of days ago to get money, as you do, and I went, and I can't. It's like a couple of days passed before I went up to Tesco's, and I realised I had no money. It's like, oh shit, I'll go to the ATM, and there was nothing there. So I went to the bank, and I was like, did anyone turn this in? And they were like, no. So I said, okay, I'll double check at home, and I'll come back on Monday and cancel it if I need to. Luckily, there's not much in there, so it's not like I'm going to be bankrupt, or more like I can't be further bankrupt. So yeah, I was going to sort that. But yeah.
Okay.
So that was my week.
I don't understand people who carry loose money and cards around their pocket.
I don't do that.
I'm not saying you do, but I know people who do.
Who does that? Hobos.
No, as if they have money.
Yeah, what would they have cards for?
But some people do still. They'll just like reach in their pocket and pull out a crumpled €10 or whatever. I'm like, what?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, I have seen that.
I can't imagine. What?
I don't keep cash in the wallet.
Why?
Well, I don't have you carry that much cash. You usually just pay on card.
Yeah, I don't normally carry that much, but I'll always. There's a little slot in my wallet where you put notes, and I'll pop them in there. Little coin slot.
Pop it in your pocket.
No, don't pop it in your pocket. Pop it in the wallet. Pop that in the pocket.
Someone last night I was talking to. I've seen this is becoming quite common. They are now using those phone cases where they have like wallet pouches on the inside of them.
No.
Okay, so like iPhones and stuff, you get this like leather pouch thing that you put your phone into. It's like a flip open thing. Well, now the little flippy thing has a little pouch for your cards and like a couple of money notes. That's becoming fairly regular, I guess.
I can imagine that becoming quite cumbersome though.
Well, you don't put all your money in there.
Sort of, yeah, even a few bits and bobs though, because my wallet is quite fat. Not because it's full of bills, mind. This isn't a brag, but even with just my few cards and coins and stuff, it's sort of heavy and hard to put in your pocket sometimes. And I don't carry any coins lower than 5 cents. I don't do 1s or 2 cents because there's no point to having them. To the point where, right, if I go into
Throw it in the bin.
I do. If I get change from Tesco or whatever, and it's like 3 cents, I want
Throw it in their face.
No, I take it. They put it in my hand with the receipt underneath, and I just crumple them up in the receipt and throw in the bin.
Why? You are mental. Give it to a homeless.
I have no need
Put
for
it in the
3
Ronald's
cent.
house box.
What am I going to do with it?
When you
Vending
go to
machines.
McDonald's.
Put it in a charity box. Give it to a homeless. Oh, okay, good point.
The homeless probably wouldn't even take it. 3 cents. They'd be like, what can I get with
They go through the bins anyway, so they'll probably find it.
Oh, Paul's just been down, let's take a rummage through the bins. He'll probably have thrown away fucking a mortgage.
The one problem that this eventually brought me was I once threw away a €10.
You idiot.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I wasn't thinking, I just threw the receipt away like I always do. And I was like, didn't I have more money than this earlier? I was like, oh, I was throwing it away. Oh well, that's what I get, I suppose. If there's a charity box, I'll just throw it in there, but in the super value where I go, there isn't, so I just have to throw the money away.
I had to throw the money away!
So, sometimes what I do is, sometimes outside supermarkets they have the sort of bollards that you can lock your bike to. I'll just leave the coins on top of one of them.
I like the way he has to find a way to amuse himself because he's getting bored of throwing the money away.
A homeless orphan will see that on eye level and go, ooh, now I can have a family or whatever.
Well, no one's saying you're going to, quote unquote, have a family now that you have 3 cents. But it's just like, in the bin, it's just such a mental thing.
Paul, look after the cents and the euros will look after themselves.
I look after cents of denominations between 5 cents and 50 cents.
Oh man. Well then, that is the mentalist thing I've heard Paul do since the water gun incident.
I'm sure I've done worse.
I'm sure you have, Paul. I'm sure you have.
So yeah, I'm getting the knack bundle of the PS4.
Ooh.
I don't really have any interest in ever playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say disappointing
so,
platformer knack.
So it's sort of it was a good value bundle. €400 for the console and the game. I think without the game it was only like €20 less or something. So like, might as well have a game to play. Why not?
Looking forward to the concept of PlayStation Now.
No, I've no interest in that whatsoever.
What?
I don't mind just having games.
Yeah, but it's more the idea of you strike me as the type of person who would get the itch to say, I want to play some obscure PS1 nonsense today. I'll do that.
Never had a PS1, so I don't have that sort of nostalgia.
Okay.
Reaction to the games. I never had a PS2 either. So.
What? Okay, so you definitely should get it then.
Yeah. I'm not too fussed. I'm grand playing current games. If I want to experience an old game, I'll watch a speed run of it or something.
Well, that's true. I'm definitely I feel like every time I play games that are sort of older than 10 years, I'm like, people who romanticize the past are mental. Games are way better these days. Look how shiny they are.
Well, I mean, it's rare that a game from 20 years ago holds up well today.
I bet Crash Bandicoot does.
Mario Kart, though.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah.
Mario Kart, of course, Double Dash especially. Although that's only 9 years now.
I bet Crash Bandicoot holds up really well.
Well, if you play GoldenEye, for example, GoldenEye is unplayable.
I one analog stick first-person shooter.
Super Mario 64 holds up really well somehow, given that it was the first 64.
That
game.
camera is nightmarish, though.
No, I mean, it's fine controlling the camera with the buttons. I don't mind the camera. There's worse ones for camera, because certain games at that time had no camera control whatsoever. It was all automatic, which is even worse for me. Yeah, so right now I'm playing Super Mario Galaxy 2. and that's almost got exactly the same camera control as 64 because it's the
Really?
D-pad.
That's
Yeah. Because the Wii has only got one analog stick.
Yeah. I've played with a Wii, but I've had very, very limited time with it because I obviously didn't buy one, So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm confident I'll have a few more years of that PS3. Make the jump eventually. I'm really hoping for a Vita PS4 bundle because I feel like as much as I'm interested by one, I will never buy a Vita on its own, never. So I'm hoping that they'll do a nice bundle with the two of them. Oh, excuse me, I've got the hickety hops. So, with all that said, should we jump into emails?
Go ahead.
I got an email here from Scott. My one and only email. For this week.
Don't forget to check your spam too.
Oh, you know what? I'll do that right now. Apologies, by the way, Chris, who last week told me he emailed me before and it didn't get read, and I said it must have been a spam folder issue, and it was a spam folder issue, and I moved it into my regular folder and I read it, but that was on episode 187, which I proceeded to ruin, and then we did episode 188, but all our emails were read by the time we did 188, so I apologise for that. Let me just double check. A bunch of these are actual spam. Invoice payment reminder. Okay. Someone found my card, obviously. I signed up for an ultraviolet account. You know when you get a DVD and it's like you have a digital version. And when I got Spring Breakers, it said that, and I was like, you know what? I would actually bother signing up to see what this is. It's good. Stream it on my phone. My phone's big, but not big enough that it's actually good to watch a film on. But it's just an interesting novelty.
Yeah, I've never once got the ultraviolet of a movie because the point of it is I'm buying it on Blu-ray to watch in great quality on my giant TV, not to stream it on my laptop.
Yeah, no, I tested it on my phone just to see if it does work, and it does, and it's like, okay, cool.
But even if I'm going to watch a movie on the laptop, I'm going to plug the laptop into the TV.
I think it might be more a thing of if you're on a long journey, but your bus has a Wi-Fi, you can pop on the them. Although to be fair, in my experience, at least on Bus Air and buses, Wi-Fi is barely good enough to load, your Google or anything, and they make you.
But then that same thing, who's buying a DVD or a Blu-ray to go, well, I'll be on a bus one day and I will look back and go, oh.
Well, you don't do it for that reason, but you collect all your UV copies along the way, and then one day you will be on the bus, and the penny will drop and go, oh, wait, I do have all these things because I took the time. Yeah, I still haven't watched or rewatched Spring Breakers. Actually, I need to get to that. Anyway, I threw my phone down because I was talking about Spring Breakers. Let me get my phone back out. Nothing in the spam folders, so we go to regular. Alright, this is from Scott. He says Royal Rumble setup is the title. He says, with Cena vs. Orton set and Big Show taking on Lesnar, I'm wondering about the Rumble itself. First, who do you think will be the surprise entrant? Well, I imagine there'll be a few. Sheamus? Yes, I would say definitely. Lawler?
Yeah.
I would. Maybe not this year. They did the commentary thing last year, didn't they?
No. Yeah. Well, and he's nearly dead, isn't he?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Because the funny thing was, I was actually prior to Jerry Lawler's health issues earlier this week. I was actually just thinking, I wonder if they'll ever let him wrestle on telly. And then when there was the news that he was having health issues this week, I was like, okay, definitely not. They wouldn't even let him do commentary even though he was in the building. So I think Lawler is a no-go this year. The loser of the Orton-Cena match, possibly. If it's Cena, definitely. They'll put him in there. Unless he's not winning, in which case they won't. Lesnar and or Show. Lesnar's an interesting one because I don't think they'd put him in as a surprise because he's so expensive. But seeing as he's already advertised on the show and it's a nothing match with the Big Show, I mean that's such a non-attraction. Given that they've already told people, hey, Lesnar's on the Rumble show, it might be cool to actually put him in there for put him in as 30 so he doesn't have to do much. I don't feel like
he could come in and throw out Batista or whoever they want him to feud.
Yeah.
If he's wrestling Undertaker, they could send Undertaker out as a surprise, or I don't know.
Second, if Lesnar is looking for a title shot, do you think it makes more sense for Cena or Orton to have the belt going into WrestleMania? This going on the idea that Lesnar may be in the title match. Thanks, Scott. Part of me wants to think that he's not getting a title match, but I don't think they'd have him say it and not have him do it. So I'd imagine he is. Cena, I don't see where the interest is in Cena versus Lesnar when they had a non-title match and John Cena beat him. I don't think there's any. Brock Lesnar has been booked relatively well in WWE, but that was their first and probably their worst misgiving. I feel like that's a very flat main event if you do it that way. Maybe Lesnar as champion chasing, Cena chasing Lesnar as champion, because you've kind of got the foreshadowing that Cena's going to win the title, and blah blah blah. But Cena as champion versus Brock, who he's already beat, I think is a weird one. I think they will do a Brock title match at Elimination Chamber.
I think that's probably the most likely, I would say. Yeah.
But it's weird though, because I don't see Cena winning, but Orton and Lesnar's a weird one because they're both heels.
The thing is, they're doing, by the looks of it, Big Show Lesnar at the Rumble as well. So how many of these Lesnar dates are they getting through? Like, how many matches does he is he applied?
Well, I mean, he's with them for another year, so I don't know. It's there's a lot of moving parts. I think that's good. I think it's good that it's not totally foreshadowed what's happening. I like that.
Yeah, it's a lot better than last year.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
clear Cena was going in.
Sometimes when it's that clear, sometimes it's good when it's that clear. Other times, I think last year was it was too much. It was too on the nose. It was too spelled out for you. I like this year. You've got like Batista. I don't see Batista coming back and losing right away. But I also don't think he's a very good option to win. I feel like that wouldn't be. I feel like Daniel Bryan really needs to win, like desperately now.
I can see Batista win, honestly, more so than Bryan. I mean, they did it with Edge when Edge returned, and John Cena, of course, in 2008. I mean, they're not adverse to having guys return and just win.
I mean, in terms of people who need it though, I think you could. I think Bryan needs to win, and Batista is perfectly fine if you do the thing where Lesnar or whoever he's going to be feuding with distracts him. Like maybe Orton doesn't want to face Batista for the title. Let me see here. So he distracts Batista. Batista gets eliminated. Bryan wins. Maybe you can do a Batista match at Elimination Chamber or something. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on at the moment, so it's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be Sting.
Maybe.
Oh my God!
Maybe it'll be Sting. No.
Sting.
You know him.
So yeah, that's my only email from Scott. Thank you very much, Scott. I'm looking forward to the Rumble. I think it's going to be interesting this year. Not super interested in the Brock match, but Brock and Big Show had good matches like 10 years ago. So
one thing that I think the Rumble has going for it as well this year is that there's only one champion. So I mean, in the last few years, we've had a few sort of ho-hum winners like Del Rio and Sheamus.
Yeah, cause you could always have the cop out of them going for the world title and being in a meaningless match. So.
Yeah, they both opened WrestleMania. Both of them were Rumble winners, you know. So at least this year, it sort of makes it feel a little bit more important than anything. But yeah, I think Batista will win only because, and I know it's early to say he's not even came back on Raw yet, but I think it's because he's been away so long. I mean, how does he need the momentum of a Royal Rumble win to sort of kickstart him as a big star again? I mean, it's tough to say how he's going to be taken to, because it's not someone like The Rock or Brock who've been out for years. Like Batista was never on that level really, and for the majority of his time on top, he was on SmackDown. He wasn't even on Raw. For the majority of his run,
he went out as a big star though.
As a heel,
main event at WrestleMania. Yeah, well.
Yeah, I feel like
the thing as well is that wrestling fans' memories are always.
It always irks me though. It seems I'm almost certain they're bringing him back as a face, especially because Del Rio's cutting promos on him. It really irks me when people leave as heels and come back as faces. It really annoys me.
I think it's natural.
It is, yeah, because it's stupid to fight the natural reaction of the crowd because they're going to cheer anyway. But I don't know. I just feel like it's the only form of entertainment where people do that. If a villain comes back in a TV show and they're a good guy, it's a big deal, and it's rare. But yeah, so Batista. We'll have more on Batista in a little bit.
Do you have an email, Joe?
I do have one email.
Can you guys hear that noise downstairs?
Downstairs? Well, we're not in your house, so.
No, but there's music playing.
What, my house or your house?
There's a murderer! Go to the window!
Okay, I have a question from Scott McAvoy. He says, odd food question. Greeting show. I was arguing with a friend the other day about eating establishments, and the conversation turned to all-you-can-eat places and if they were worth the price you paid to eat. He said he'd rather just order a steak someplace and not have to deal with the random food on the buffet. And I said that the random food was the best part of a buffet because you knew there would be something good to eat there and you could sample everything you wanted. Which does the CSP crew prefer? Well, I find with all-you-can-eat buffets, they may be good value, but the food isn't as good. It's usually going to be pretty bad food, generally speaking. So I think I'd rather pay a little bit more and get quality that you know you're going to get what you want as well.
In my experience, there's a Chinese place here that does a buffet, and it's decent. It's good. Typically it's a good restaurant. It's not. It's non-buffet dishes are very nice, but it is just that thing of you go in and it's like, okay, all this stuff is cooked and then it's kept warm under the lights for the buffet. I think that's horrible. So I can only really tolerate a buffet if it's like at a wedding or some kind of event like that. Very rarely do I think it's a good idea to actually pay and go to a buffet. I love a nice meal, proper meal. Spend a little bit extra quid, fine.
I normally find that I'm quite full after a normal meal anyway, so I don't need to go for the all-you-can-eat.
That's because you have 2 burgers.
I have not had 2 burgers in years.
It has not been years.
What? You told us about 6 months ago.
Oh, well, sometimes when I go to Burger King I will, but in a proper restaurant. Yeah, I find that if I go to a proper restaurant, I'll be more than full after. I realize that the all-you-can-eat buffet, the draw is that it's cheaper than a restaurant, but I don't really need to eat that much to be sated.
Yeah, if I'm going to cheap out when it comes to food, I am just going to go to McDonald's or something. I feel like a buffet,
exactly.
Especially like the one I mentioned. It's a nice establishment, but you're going for the cheap, shitty buffet option. It's like, why going halfway is rubbish because you're not getting the quality of the restaurant, but you're not getting the cheapness of going to McDonald's. So it's just cut your losses and just go to McDonald's, basically.
I love McDonald's. I must say, I've not been to McDonald's.
I went this week
either. I might have to go this week. I went to Burger King last time. When did I go to Burger King? The week before last, maybe. And I've not been to McDonald's maybe in about a month or 2.
I think I spoke on the show about how Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. I went to KFC for the first time in a while with my friends. They wanted talk about eyes bigger than your stomach. My friend wanted to do right. He said we're going to make this a yearly tradition. We'll go to KFC. And we went out the night before Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Eve we went for KFC, like hangover cure. He said we'll make this a yearly tradition. What we're going to do is we're each going to get a family bucket on our own, and we're going to have that. I was like, first of all, never in a million years would any of us be able to eat that. That's like a disgusting amount of waste. Second of all, I am not spending 20 quid on a bunch of chicken I'm not going to eat. That's ridiculous. So I ended up talking him off the ledge, and we ended up splitting family meals between 2. There was like 4 of us, so we got 2 family meals, which was also excessive and way too much, but we did finish it. So KFC is good. The chips are still aight.
Yeah, I don't like KFC chips. It tastes like almost. Did you know those Walker's French fry crisps?
Yeah.
They're like that.
Well, what do you think about Burger King's latest chips?
I like the
really.
chips. Yeah, the thing I find with Burger King is that Burger King to me tastes more like the food it's supposed to be. Like the burgers taste more like burgers and the chips taste more like chips. But then McDonald's burgers taste like McDonald's burgers.
I like that guy in Super Size Me who's like he eats nothing but McDonald's. 3 meals a day for his entire life.
3 Big Macs. Big Macs.
And he's like, I had a Whopper once. I almost got sick. It was some like
I put my sauce on it.
It was
so
some
bad.
southern, guy. He travels the country. Oh no, he goes to some. He doesn't travel for the whole film, but he goes to some. He goes to these particular McDonald's, and he meets weirdos who live in McDonald's and love McDonald's and eat nothing but McDonald's. And yeah, this guy there was talking about eating Burger King like it was rat poison.
Well, it probably is, in fairness.
Well, yeah, but for him, it's just because his fucking palate has been destroyed by a lifetime of McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's have done to burgers what WWE has done to wrestling. They've sort of
made it better.
It's not really a hamburger; it's sort of burger entertainment.
We don't like to call ourselves part
It's
of
a bit
the
like burgers.
food industry. We're more of the Gastro entertainment.
Anyway, thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Sorry we didn't agree. None of us seem to agree with you.
A little bit like watching Super Size Me made me want McDonald's. That email has
Yeah,
also now.
I feel like that's like he's getting sick.
If only I could get my phone and order a McDonald's.
He's getting.
So I also read Super Size Me was bollocks.
Well,
as
yeah.
well.
I mean, well, not totally.
I mean,
but
tried
certain
to-
aspects of it. Yeah.
They said there's there's no way you could eat that many calories as he was supposed to be eating if you're just having 3 McDonald's a day.
But even the concept of it is nonsense. Because
Well-
what normal human being eats
Yeah, but the
3
point
McDonald's
was
a day for a month?
People do eat McDonald's almost every day. So
Yeah, but what he, I mean, like,
or fast food in it every day anyway.
but it's like doing a film and going, instead of water and milk and Coke and stuff, I'm going to have whiskey for all my liquid intake for this month. Let's see what happens. It's like, come on, you know. I thought Super Size Me was okay.
I think it would be a more interesting experiment if he had it once a month or once a day for a month, and lived completely normally otherwise, just to see what effect that one a day had on him. As opposed to, I'm not even going to walk to McDonald's. I'm going to get in the car and get it drive through and drive home and do nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it was not only the McDonald's, but his lifestyle was also completely different to his normal lifestyle.
Was it?
Yeah.
So it's a bit
I can't
warped, you know?
It was a good
Yeah,
film.
it was alright.
But sort of fiction. Yeah.
Yeah, there was, even if he was going to go eat in the McDonald's, he'd get the car and park outside.
One
and
funny
walk
thing
in.
about, I mean, that film is
Instead of
also
walking
pretty dated
4
in the
blocks.
sense that he talks about how so much of their nutritional information is available on the internet, and who has the internet? You know, it's like it was 2004, but they still talk about the internet like no one has it. You know, which I guess compared to now, you know,
Did he send the fax to the head of McDonald's?
he might have done actually.
Your food is bad.
Was it on this show, or was I talking to someone else? I can't remember. All my conversations are starting to run together. Was it on this show where we were talking about how people often say, "Why don't McDonald's deliver?" And it's like very simple. It would taste like shit by the time it got to you.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah, because McDonald's food goes cold
Yeah, and
very
it
quickly.
tastes horrible once it's got. You know, you need to eat that shit
I'll
straight
still
away.
eat it. Yeah, because that's I think we were talking about it because I always eat my chips before the burger. My brother does it the other way around.
You and your brother are just
Because I
in
find-
conflict over everything. He's staring at you with hatred in his eyes because you're eating your chips.
Well, he likes the burger really hot, straight off like the grill. So
He just eats it straight
Off the cow.
Just face first into the grill.
No, he's a little beanpole of a man compared to me. But he likes the burger hot, so he'll have that first. And I I find that the chips go cold more quickly
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
burger does.
Yeah.
So I'll eat the chips while they're warm and nice, and then I'll have the burger, and the burger will still be warm and nice. But if I was to eat the burger first, cold chips, and that won't do. And that's how McDonald's works. And then the nice McFlurry to wash it down.
Anyway, Scott, you had an email.
No, Joe read his email. It was about Buffets.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Buffets.
but wait, was that the last one?
Warren Buffett's.
Oh, okay. Thanks,
Yeah, that
Scott,
was it.
as always.
I have a
Oh, you
couple
do. Sorry,
emails.
that's what I was asking you. I was asking,
I-
do we have any more? Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I do, yeah. First one says, good evening, Paul. With Dixie Carter saying that TNA was looking for some new talent, do you think that means they'll be cutting some more talent that they have now? If so, who do you think they'll let go? Who do you think should be let go? Personally, as much as I loved Sting as a teenager, that was 30 years ago, and I don't ever need to see him in a ring again, unless he's leaving his boots there and saying goodbye. Thanks for another week of entertainment, Scott. I don't know if the TNA should really be looking for new talent. I think they should establish their talent they have. I was actually thinking about this today, before I'd even read this email. Just thinking about how how could TNA benefit most, and from what they have currently. For example, they still have Sting under contract for whatever reason. They should have guys like Bobby Roode, guys who are in their primes, that are around that 30 to 35 years old. They should be the guys at the top of the company right now, and they should have been for the last 2 years, maybe. Not the WWE Bully Ray and Anderson guys necessarily, although Bully Ray's not done a bad job. He's probably should be up there, right? Anderson, I'd be less excited about. But guys like Sting for sure should be gone, replaced with Sting's salary alone. You could probably hire a good 3 or 4 top level indie guys.
Easily.
Oh, definitely.
Well, even not. I mean, on good salaries and not like the Kenny King deal where he shows up twice and then go back to stripping, you bum. or however that worked out. Yeah, I mean, they should really put an emphasis on the in-ring, because previously TNA's whole competitive advantage was that they'd have these awesome pay-per-views, an awesome in-ring with the X Division. I mean, that only went up until like 2007, but 2006. But that was always the thing, because what they do nowadays is it's like they're trying to be WWE. It's like they're trying to do what WWE do, but better.
Yeah, lately it feels like that more than ever, I think.
And they're not gonna. That's not, to me, is not the best way to approach things. What they should do is do something that's markedly different to WWE. So when people are like the six-sided ring they had, I thought was the best thing that they could have had for their company, because when on a Thursday evening, whoever's flicking the channels, they see a six-sided ring, and immediately, without knowing what it is or what the show is about, they see this is different.
Sure. And I remember when Hogan was like, "No more playpen rings." I was like, that is such an unfounded, such a nonsense criticism that means absolutely. The number of sides doesn't undermine or anything like that. It's just a nice little unique thing to have. There's a trailer out actually for AJ Styles' first shoot with high spots since he left. And let me tell you, if this whole thing's a work and he actually is going back to TNA, they probably should have told him not to do this, because from what I heard, he just absolutely buries them in a number of regards. He said he was very unhappy about ditching the ring, and spoke out about Hogan and Bischoff selling everyone a bill of goods. So I want to get my hands on that soon if I can.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Well, I mean, the six-sided ring I think they should have kept, because, like I say, fair enough if people are flicking the channel. Oh, it's pro wrestling. They can watch for 5 minutes and they go, okay, this is not particularly interesting. But when you get the ring, of course, it's got a different aspect. The action is done differently, slightly. Those sort of things that really differentiate TNA is what they should have done. And of course, at the time, they had guys like Samoa Joe, AJ, Daniels, Kazarian, even I'd go as far as to say, Amazing Red, Homicide. These X Division guys who, for people who flick the channels, to land on the six-sided ring and these incredible matches, which I don't have now at all, even with the X Division. The first X Division champion I really noticed that was like not an X Division wrestler was Daivari when he won the X Division title way back when. He was the first champion where I was like, this is just a WWE guy who wrestles WWE style as the X Division champion. It's like that was like sort of the death of the X Division for me. There was a match I watched on Google Video. That's how long ago it was, before YouTube.
Wow.
It was Puma against, who's he? I think Petey Williams, Sabin, possibly, and someone else. And it was like a 15-minute Impact match, or maybe it was on pay-per-view, I'm not sure. And it was so good, and that was what got me hooked on TNA initially, because I'd been reading about it in Power Slam magazine years ago. And I was like, okay, let's go to Google Video, let's look up TNA, see what they have. And it was just this random match I watched. I was like, this was so good. I mean, what from 2013 could you put on YouTube for a fan my age looking to discover TNA that they'll go, look at this, look how different this is from what WWE was doing at the time. You know what I mean? There's not that same draw.
And they had, not even that long ago, they had Austin Aries having really good matches with a lot of people, but he doesn't. I haven't seen him on the show for a few weeks. I don't know what he's up to, but.
Well, that's the problem as well, that they cycle
he had the match with Chris Sabin, didn't he?
They cycle guys in and out.
Which was not good. Yeah.
But then, for example, the guys, what they seem to be doing now is, for their core guys who they're not cycling in and out, they're going with like these very low salary, like the Ethan Carter. He's not like a top guy with a top salary, but he seems to be like one of the focal points of the show now. And fair enough, he's a young guy with a good look or whatever, but
I mean, I think they're trying with him and a couple of others.
But again, is it markedly different from WWE, or is it they're trying to do WWE but better?
Second one.
You know what I mean? When it comes to this sort of thing, when it's such a small pool in a way, WWE already have so much control of the market share, and people who want what WWE have are going to watch WWE because it's so readily available. They're not going to seek out an alternative because that's what they want, that's what they get. They're happy enough, and the wrestling is better, as it has been all year with the Shield. Do you see these these TNA fans on Twitter who are so steadfast that TNA was better in this year? Like,
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, in recent years, the TNA fanatics have shrunk in numbers but they have doubled in steadfastness and stubbornness. There is still a demographic that thinks they are a superior product. They're not PG. They're not sports entertainment. They're real wrestling. Blah 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 blah. I actually watched Impact this week, and I did tweet out after the fact. I've been so thoroughly disappointed with TNA in the ring for the last year. I feel like I can't remember what the last must-see match they had was, and in general, Impact this week, that's a whole other kettle of fish. It was.
Honestly, the last time TNA was sort of must-watch was when they had that run of like 3 or 4 great pay-per-views in like the first half of last year.
I mean,
with Austin Aries and Bully Ray, Austin Aries and Rude.
When Kazarian and Daniels first formed, and they were feuding with AJ and Angle, and they were having those great matches. Like that was almost 2 years ago at this stage. I mean, it's been a while since they've been the must-see place, Yeah.
So get rid of Sting.
Yeah.
I can't think of who else do they have. I mean, they have the problem is they have a lot of these high to mid card guys who just aren't that good and just never will be, like Gunner.
And Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's treading water at this stage. I mean, he's faced Bobby Roode so many times.
I think Kurt Angle
doing the same stuff over and over again. Angle.
Yeah.
Less good, every time.
I'd even get rid of Kurt Angle. I think, as Paul Heyman said years ago, like I think we tweeted out that interview he did with Ariel Helwani. What he would do if he ran TNA. It's one of the most interesting interviews I've ever seen. Where he's like, anyone over 40 gone immediately. And his analogy was, when it comes to baseball, he used, it applies to other sports as well, where if you're gonna sign a guy, do you want to sign the guy who's already hit 1,000 home runs, or the guy who's gonna hit 1,000 home runs? Is the way he put it. And I see what he means. I mean, are you going to sign Anderson, who's had his prime already in WWE, or are you going to sign a guy like who's on these now? No, someone like Brian Cage, who they for whatever reason passed over, which I still
Kevin
don't. Kevin Steen. I mean, again, you say, well, look at him, he's fat and but he's different. Again, he stands out.
I mean, the funny thing is, this isn't just an issue of they push old people instead of young people. Like, as Paul alluded, some of their choices in who they sign. I was watching Mafu's Listomania 2013. Remember Magno and Adam Pearce? And they picked Magno, and they cut Adam Pearce immediately, and then they also cut Magno.
That was Magno who landed on his head in the match doing a
Lady Papa and Ivelisse.
He was a Sin Cara ripoff. Despite the fact that Sin Cara was one of the biggest flops in years.
I don't want to shit on everyone they've signed, because they've signed some decent. I'm okay with EC3, but they've a weird eye for talent. They've a really weird eye for talent. Like, and as Paul mentioned, Jay Bradley over Brian Cage, which perplexed me to no end. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there you go. There's TNA. Sting as well. Other email comes from Steve. Greetings from the relegation zone. Fucking West Ham, 15 points in 20 games. Sunderland should be embarrassed to be behind us.
But Steve is from the Bay Area. Oh, he's one of them. He's one of those Americans who
he's
watches.
a West Ham fan. He loves the soccer ball.
That's a weirdly prominent thing these days, I find.
How are West Ham doing? Are they in the relegation zone?
Evidently.
They beaten this weekend?
They won this weekend.
Oh, they did. They won 2-0.
Cardiff,
yeah. And Sunderland beat Fulham
4-1.
There you go. And United won a game, Joe. Hooray! Hooray!
Either of you two. Sorry, I didn't cut you off in the middle of your email. Either of you seen that documentary, the Man United won the Class of '92? Any good?
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but I've heard 100 people have said to me, "Have I seen it?"
Yeah. It's pretty good. It doesn't give you anything that revelatory if you're already a United fan. But
I mean, I'm not a football person, but those were the big names when I was growing up and when I was watching. So I was like, I might give it a watch. But anyway, back to Steve's email.
The old TV14 era of Man United. He says he recently got a new job. A friend of his is the host of a late-night horror show there in the Bay Area, and has asked him to help book guests for the show.
A late night horror show.
Yeah, I'm going to need more details here,
His
Steve.
first assignment. But he says his first assignment was to get some transsexual strippers.
What's horror about that? Let them live
2004.
their life, Steve. Stop judging. So you're basically a monster. I mean, come on my show.
He says 2014 is going to be very interesting. So what's the best and worst job you guys
Are
have
you
ever
sure
had?
he didn't miss out the word Rocky?
Oh yeah,
Late night Rocky Horror Show.
yeah.
He doesn't mention
But
Rocky.
I'm confused. Is this
That
a
would make more
radio
sense.
show? Is this a television show? Is this a
I imagine it's some sort of cabaret
Some
deal.
sort of-
like as in a live show? Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah,
I would assume
yeah,
so.
so maybe it is a Rocky horror picture show thing. Okay, what's our best and worst job? Did he ask?
Yeah, the best and worst jobs you guys have ever had. Love the show. Keep it going.
I don't know. I like quote unquote job that very rarely pays and pays poorly. But I like being a writer, and I like freelancing, and I like, at the times when I'm not swamped with college work and I have time to dedicate to say, okay, I'm actually going to write X, Y, and Z this month. It's pretty gratifying to have your stuff published and to get money for it, and to have people say, hey, I read that and it was really good. It's kind of gratifying in that way. I'm pretty content with this. I haven't had a whole lot of jobs, but sort of in recent years I've realised that I like this career trajectory. Hopefully it keeps going. Worst, I really did not like working in Tesco at all. I mean, kind of all the stereotypes you've heard and cliches of people in middle management and just too big for their britches, not realising that hey, it's fucking Tesco. Get over yourself. A lot of that, a lot of asshole customers, a lot of heavy lifting and just dealing with shit. Just if you're desperate enough, and I am, you'll work there because it's a job. But I don't know. I feel like the amount of shit you have to deal with varies from the quality of the store. So I had a lot less rudeness when I was working in Debenhams. And I had a lot. I must say, to Tesco's credit, I had a lot more rudeness and shit to deal with when I was working in an off-license. It was the real dregs there. So yeah, I'm not big on retail. I like dealing with people, but after a while, you just kind of realize people suck. So that's me.
Joe?
Best job, probably my current job.
Well,
Working in marketing,
Yeah.
online marketing. Worst, I don't know. I haven't had that many bad jobs.
Well, I've heard
More
you
sort
talk in
of
the past about how
mediocre.
you've had jobs where you've hated everybody there.
Well, that's most of them. But then
Sorry.
that's just maybe that's just me. No, it was them.
Yeah.
It was definitely them.
Well, I'm a bit of a misanthrope, so I guess.
No.
Yeah,
People for the most part are awful.
I think it depends on. I mean, I've worked in like post rooms, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's really depressing. Because people just. I think anyway, in terms of like retail as well, if you're serving people as customers, they feel it also entitles them to treat you like subhuman scum. And it's probably the same in companies as well. If you're like lower down the chain, people think they're entitled
Oh yeah,
to act like
it goes to
dicks.
people's heads. I mean, it does. It's crazy. One thing, I didn't hate it. I really liked this office job I had as part of my work experience for college. So it wasn't a proper job, but it was like a proper job. I was working in an office for like a website building company. They did a number of things, and it was great. But it reminded me of this old bit from an old Ricky Gervais radio show, in fact, where he talks about how he'd hate to work in a printer's because of the dryness and the taste of toner in your mouth. There was very much that vibe in this office I was working in. Very dry, very stuffy, surrounded by office supplies. That sort of stink of those, not even stink, but this kind of just like pervasive kind of odor of when you open like a big stack of A4 pages. New paper blandness smell fills every orifice of your head. It's like in this journalism game, I'm kind of hoping I end up doing things like traveling and working from home and freelancing and this and that, because I don't feel like I would last very long in a stuffy office environment. It's very I just don't like that kind of smell and that kind of atmosphere. It's very sickening to me. But the actual job I was working was actually great. The people were really cool, and I didn't do much actual design, I think, because I'm not in the least bit trained. But they make websites, and I was doing things like bug testing and cleaning up little bits and bobs, and that was interesting. Seeing how websites actually get built. Like they were like clients would come to them and say, "Okay, I need blank," and they would make it. And I would bug test it. That was fun. I'm a moderately technological person, but I feel like there's just like a million other super interesting things I wish I could do, from a job standpoint with computers. I think it's pretty interesting. But that's a whole other set of qualifications you'd have to go and get, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Trying to think now, my best. I don't know. I mean, I worked in a Centra for nearly 2 years, and I really liked that. That might be my best ever.
What's that?
It's like a mace.
Do
wait.
they even have mace?
Yeah,
Spar?
yeah.
You're at Spar?
Spar, mace, yeah.
Yeah.
Cost cutters.
We don't have that.
Yeah, we did.
I worked in a corner shop, I suppose you'd call it. It was actually
convenience store.
It was actually a petrol station, a gas
Thank
station.
you. Come again.
Oh, were you pumping gas?
I pumped my fair share of gas.
Pump the gas, brother.
Big papa
And
pump.
I really enjoyed that. It was just because you'd be standing around just chatting all day, pretty much. That was pretty good. So that'd probably be my best. Worst. I've never really had one of those awful jobs, if you know what I mean. I worked in France. I worked for there 7 months there, and it was okay. Where I work now is fine. I'm not super happy with it, but it's really easy and I'm really good at it. So when you sort of reach that stage,
I'm
you sort of coast.
kind of unsettled by the guy who's just next to me sticking pins in my voodoo doll, but
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go for that being the best then, because Mama does.
Mama.
Did I tell you guys last week about the package? Was that last week or?
Is it the one he sent to Barry this week?
Sent me a little.
I don't know if I spoke about that on last week's show.
What was the gist of it?
That was that he got a package, and I asked him if it was a magic wand.
I don't remember that.
Did I mention that here? Okay, I'll tell it again just in case. But yeah, he got a long cuboid package, rectangular, sort of about 3/4 of a foot across and deep, and about 4 feet long maybe. And he walked in with it. I went, "Oh, Mama, what did you get? What's this that you have today?" And he wouldn't tell me what it was. Like it was some sort of secret. I couldn't read. When he was gone, I was trying to read what it said on the package before. I couldn't make it out. And I asked him if it was a magic wand because he does all this voodoo. And he was like, "No." And he wasn't angry about it, but he was very.
Well, you're
steadfast
mocking
about
his religion.
It's not religion.
Magic and that nonsense is religion. It's like
fair enough. It is
white 17-year-olds who say I'm a witch.
That's exactly what he is. Then. Of course, he's not a white 17-year-old.
It's an optical illusion.
He might be in disguise.
or was it a voodoo gone bad and went back on his own? Oh no, I'm an old man. Yeah, so I don't know if you really have a worse job. Probably the part one in Paris, because I was working with Parisian twats. Although I don't know, I shouldn't really have to put twat in there, because Parisian is itself almost
even in the way it's a twatty word, isn't it? Parisian.
There's not a single person in Paris who's not a complete and utter knob. I'm going to throw that out. I live there long enough to realise this.
Oh dear.
They're all completely intolerable people. Subhuman, I must think that's right. The old Paris.
Deary me.
So that's all the emails for the week. Thanks very much, everyone. If you want to email us, go to ChairShotPodcast.com.
What races do you think are subhuman scum? Get in touch.
Paris isn't a race. Parisian.
Glaswegians are nice. Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. They're very, very polite. They are somewhat Irish-like in terms of their ratio of nice people to twats. There are plenty, but the nice people.
Not the Protestant ones.
Right.
Rangers.
So I suppose we should probably segue into the news at this stage, given that we've been recording for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Right, well, the big news this week was that at CES, which is a very boring tech expose, it's like E3 but with tellies instead of games.
Isn't that a DVD exchange shop?
Yeah, that must be weird.
They're like, we're giving back all our DVDs, we're going to do a network now.
Is this one Michael Bay was at and he
Yeah.
stormed off? Because the teleprompter turned into a transformer or something. Sure.
I said at the time that if Jennifer Lawrence did that, everyone would have thought it was the greatest shit in the world. She doesn't listen to teleprompters, man. Anyway, so that happened.
She would have done some wacky
But the real news at a CES, and to be quite honest, it was actually one of the major news points, other than Sony going, we've got a curved telly now. Ooh, and more falling over 4K, which, God, I feel like if a feature of your telly means that it inherently has to be at least 50 inches for it to be noticeable or cool, I feel like that's kind of it's a bit much. But anyway,
I'm just waiting for the point where TV resolutions are higher quality than life.
like your life or anyone's life.
Just, I mean, what you can see with your own eyes.
I'm waiting for them to be higher quality than about 720p. 'Cause at the moment, every time I put the telly on, it's some old sitcom from the 70s or something. It's like, I could be watching on a phone.
It could be an oil painting.
There's nothing in 1080p. Shite.
So at CES, one of the more notable announcements was that WWE had an announcement. Vince was there, Stephanie was there, Triple H was there, and they announced Stone Cold was there. All the usuals. What's his face? TJ Perkins. They announced that, in fact, after much speculation, that they are launching a network, an online network. Not a traditional cable network, folks. Don't get it confused. The Netflix it's essentially, yes, the Netflix of wrestling. So here's the gist, everyone. If you somehow manage to miss it and you're not up to date on what's going down, a $10 a month in the US only at launch, which will launch on February 24th, I believe, like 5 minutes after Raw goes off air. So, and what that $10 a month will get you is a 24-hour streaming WWE channel, which will have regular scheduled programs that are old TV shows and Total Divas and Legends House, which they showed a trailer for and looked unbelievably hideous. They'll have a 24-hour channel like that, but also when you pay your $10, you get access to WWE's huge video archive, or rather a fraction of it at launch. They'll roll out more video as time goes by, but at launch, that video archive will have full episodes of Raw and SmackDown, old and new. It will have
Wow, I don't know about full episodes.
Yeah.
Not the new ones. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Not live.
Not live. They will have replays and stuff like that, and on-demand replays. But Raw and SmackDown are still on their respective networks. But you can go into the archive for your $10 a month, and basically, along with your channel, you're basically getting the Netflix of WWE. So they said at launch they will have every WWE, WCW, and ECW pay-per-view on demand, ready and waiting for you, as well as full episodes of their respective TV shows. Not necessarily every single one. They were kind of unclear about that. But yeah, and they will, where appropriate, they will be uncensored or unedited. So you're not getting a heavily edited, black and white, older shows. So that's nice. So yeah, and the big selling point, I suppose, the other most important thing is that the WWE's live monthly pay-per-views, including WrestleMania every year, will be live on the network, and they are included in the price. So that was really the crux of the actual news, because them putting out a network and hosting Total Divas, NXT, and their shitty YouTube shows on there wouldn't really be news in and of itself, but really the pay-per-view news is the potential game changer, so to speak.
That was sort of the equivalent of Sony coming out and going, well, our console doesn't have to be online all the time. It's sort of the equivalent of, well, have WrestleMania every year. It's interesting what that means for the pay-per-view buys.
It means pay-per-view's finished.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
wrestling pay-per-views anyway.
Well, that's almost a shame for WrestleMania, because WrestleMania was such a cash cow for so many.
Well, ultimately, I think
you look at how many
as a whole, even though boxing and UFC still do well, think pay-per-view as a whole is going to go soon enough because television soon enough has only got a couple more decades left in it. Like I think long before television itself falls, pay-per-view's got to be, winding down, I would imagine.
But I mean, that goes to, it sort of speaks about how optimistic they are about this network, because the pay-per-views were still very profitable, you got to imagine. So now it's just a different distribution channel. You got to think how much money are they going to bring in on a yearly basis because of this. I mean, of course, when it comes to WrestleMania, you still have other sort of revenue streams like live tickets and merchandise and all that sort of stuff. So it's not like they're losing a whole lot of money. But WrestleMania a year did whatever million buys. So I mean, I don't know how much money that is exactly, but you got to be in the multiple.
It's a very weird situation because we're going to have a situation over the next few years where undoubtedly pay-per-view is going to take a huge hit, but the big question mark is, will that be reflected in, will the network be a huge success, basically? One interesting thing of note is that you get a week's free trial of the network. So it goes live on in February and 24th, after Raw. And so one big, huge question mark is, they have to be expecting millions and millions of people for the free week. Not necessarily, I'd say it will drop drastically down into the hundreds of thousands after it. But for that free week, they should be expecting like millions of people opting to do it for free.
Well, I imagine what it's got to be is if you subscribe, will it be a week that you can tune out, like opt out of afterwards, or is it that you subscribe for the 6 months and you get an extra week free?
It's a free trial.
No, I think it's free trial.
It might be a Netflix type situation where give us your credit card details now, and we'll give you your free week. And if you cancel before the week's over, cool. But if you forget to do so, we will charge you for the first month, and you're locked in for 6 months. That was the other thing as well, actually, by the way. They'll charge you monthly, but you do have to commit to 6 months. So you are essentially committing to paying 60 quid on this thing, which is interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was quite funny that people were of the opinion, I don't know why, that there were 2 cycles you could go in for. The WrestleMania cycle and the second half of the year cycle. Like someone is going to want to join the network and go, but I have to wait 4 months.
You got to wait 6 months.
Sign up
there was a lot of confusion because, and I don't know why, because WWE, their presentation I thought was very good. I think they really knocked it out of the park. Let's see, so often they get these things wrong.
What I assume it would be is you sign up, you get your account, whatever. They explain you sign up your account, and then you get like your account expires on six months later. That's like clearly what it's going to be. So I don't. People were so confused by what the actual 6 month period meant. Like it wasn't a set period.
But with the actual announcement of this, they kind of turned the network from a running joke into the coolest thing that everyone's super excited about. And they sent their stock through the roof as well. Well, within the context of how lame it's been in the last few years. But yeah, they certainly earned themselves a lot of brownie points with fans. I just think it's going to be fucking super interesting to see how successful this thing is. Because they are essentially saying that pay-per-view is done. Because they even said in the presentation, look how fucking expensive these things are. Are we crazy? Let's just give you everything for $10 a month. And a couple of days later, there was the story. Direct TV in the US spoke to the LA Times. Said they were seemingly in the dark about this. They had it in their contract that WWE is not allowed to undercut them online, which is true, because if you go to buy a pay-per-view on WWE.com, it is the same price in dollars as it would be to buy it on TV. Even though buying it online does not, there's no cut for the cable company. They're not allowed to undercut the cable companies, and now they are friggin'.
Well, I'm sure there's some technical language that it can get around where it's a subscription service, so the price being paid is.
Well, they would.
I'm sure there's some legal.
For WWE's sake, they would probably hope that that's the case. I'm sure they probably thought about this ahead of time, but yeah. So yeah, it seems like there's going to be a lot of headbutting going on soon between the pay-per-view companies and WWE. So
I mean, if they get enough subscribers, I'm sure WWE won't already care too much. They'll just say, "All right, fuck it."
So it's going to be US only currently, and then they're aspiring, or they're aiming, I should say, for late 2014, early 2015, that they will be in Canada, the UK, and a number of other European countries. and then in the future, TBA, no real specifics, they want to go worldwide. But basically what's holding them back is things like, say, for example, in the UK, the Sky deal. That's different from the deal they have with USA, for example. So while they're just saying fuck you to the pay-per-view providers in the US, Sky being kind of one big umbrella corporation, they can't be on Sky Sports and simultaneously say fuck you to Sky Box Office, if you know what I mean.
But not only that, but stuff like NXT and is still on
Sky
Sports.
Exactly. So it's all basically just a big wait for these rights fees to expire or renegotiate or whatever. I'm wondering, because so often we get lumped in as Irish with the UK still when it comes to things like this. I'm wondering if because Sky, Sky, there is no one in Ireland broadcasts WWE other than Sky. So I'd imagine we'll probably get it when the UK gets it. I would hope.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get it? Are you lads gonna get it?
Oh, I'm sure.
No.
Nope.
Not even for the luxury of, look, £10 a month, no fucking around with streams. Let me watch the show live in lovely crystal clear HD.
No.
Thing is, I haven't been even downloading some of the pay-per-views recently, so.
Well, for me personally, I don't watch pay-per-views live anyway because I work.
Well, they'll be on demand too after the next day.
Mad times. Yeah, but not to do myself here, but they're sort of on demand for me anyway.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. And I can get them in HD and watch them on my TV, so I'm not too bothered that way. As far as the new shows that they showed, like Legends House and WrestleMania Rewind and Countdown and the Monday Night Wars, they all look shite. They all look shite. Yeah. I wouldn't watch
the
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania one looked like they were going to use all the talking heads from other DVDs. I mean, that's
exactly. The Monday Night Wars one had that Eric Bischoff interview from 2002.
Shot in like 2x9
in an arena somewhere. Shot in 1x1.
Silent film, like it's black and white footage of Eric Bischoff speaking, then cut to like a text card.
Just piano tickering away over it.
Ted Turner said, "What am I going to do to compete with?
Give me 2 hours on Monday night.
Compete with such a man, see?" I said, "It's going to be Monday night, Ted." He says, "Ah."
I love how people in old movies all have the same accent. Oh, why you
It was
guy?
It was our families. Don't mess with Rich and man.
Oh, Briscoe. So yeah, I don't watch any of those. As far as the whole back catalogue goes, that to me is the most interesting thing. But even that is sort of limited. Like, how many times are you going to watch Backlash 2006 or whatever, you know? Even that would be, for me, would be just sort of flitting in, see like a specific clip or a match, you know. I wouldn't ever sit down and watch the whole Judgment Day 01 or whatever.
I think what they're banking on with this is for people like me who I definitely wouldn't sit down and watch it all day every day. I'd be interested in it for the pay-per-views, and then it's just the type of thing that it's just a tenner. It's like Netflix. I'll forget I have it and just whatever, you know. I think they're counting on a lot of that. People who think a tenner is nothing for all this content. So even if they're not,
a tenner is not a bad
easy
price at all.
Even if you're not totally sold on it, it's one of those things that you could see people getting anyway, just because, like, I'm a wrestling fan, $10, whatever.
Exactly. And of course, the pay-per-view is the main draw. Not for me.
I mean, that's if you're an American, that's a £50 saving. I mean, well,
yeah. If I was in America, I would subscribe because I would be able to watch all the pay-per-views live. Simply, as simple as that. I would subscribe for that reason. But given my situation, it doesn't appeal to me.
I think a deciding factor for people such as yourself might be what are the reviews like for their original content. Like, so the stuff they've shown so far doesn't look great, Legends House, whatever. But if down the line they bring back like Legends Roundtable and if
all that stuff,
documentaries the caliber of the CM Punk one and the Mick Foley one, they come out, but it's like, oh, not on DVD. They're on the network. They're on the schedule. You know, tune in 9:00 on Sunday to see the new.
Yeah, even if they did like a little series.
I mean, so if stuff like that rolls out, I think that would be cool. Oh, and that's the other thing as well, that in their archive from launch, all their home videos are on the archive. So for
well, that's quite funny because all our friends on YouTube are selling their collections now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our unnamed
That's
YouTube
funny.
pals are racing out to CEX to get rid of their collections that they've spent years amassing, because the network.
So I mean that's one cool thing. Like,
Um,
for example, I haven't seen. I don't think I saw any WWE documentaries last year. I didn't see the Mick Foley one. I didn't see the Triple H one. I didn't watch the 50 years one. So all that, and you can go back and get that weird TLC VHS. It's like an hour long from 2000 if you wanted to. So you can probably dig around to find some
yeah.
obscure.
Well, I mean,
treats on there.
as someone who's a collector myself, like I have all my wonderful Blu-rays and DVDs,
Your videos in the shed.
and videos in the shed. When Netflix came out, for example, I didn't race to get rid of all my DVDs because I can stream them now. You know what I mean? I thought the part of collecting is to have the collection. Stamp collectors don't. When letters come out, go, "Oh, I need a stamp." Get the penny black out of the book. And stick it on.
Or you can print off stamps online. Oh, I don't need this stamp collection anymore. Just print them off online.
Just have a
Just
image
burn them in the
shack or
fire.
whatever of all the stamps in it. So I don't really understand the. I mean, obviously they want the money from their videos, but isn't there still a charm or even a monetary reason to even with the network to have your
Yeah,
DVDs?
I mean, even because I mean, even in
Um,
the age of Netflix, I still like to buy and hold and get a DVD. It's nice. In the age of Kindle, it's still cool to have an actual book. And like when PlayStation Now rolls out, I'm still going to cherish having my boxed special edition copy of The Last of Us. But you can stream it straight to your console now. You don't even need the disc. You don't even need a box. It's like, yeah, but I like the box. Look at all the art and stuff on the box.
There's only been one major video game release that I've ever bought the sort of digital version of, and that was Zelda on the 3DS this year. Link to
Oh, you bought the
Between
digital
Worlds.
version, yeah?
Yeah, I bought on the eShop, but that was only because I was just come home from work and I wasn't bothered going into town to buy it. I was like, I can pay a $5 to take a 25-minute bus to town, walk to HMV, buy the game in the cold, get back on the bus, come home and play it, or I can have it in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I was like, oh fuck, I'll just buy it because I don't really particularly care about having the box for that one. But generally, I'm someone who likes to have the physical media, to have the disc, and to have the
Yeah.
the old experience of taking the disc out for the first time, looking at the disc, going, "Oh, look what they put in the disc," and putting in the console, waiting for it to load up, and going, "Oh." You sort of
Yeah, I
use all
definitely agree, and I like oh god, I'm spacing here. No, brain fart. Never mind.
that. Never mind. So I mean, again with the network, we'll have to wait and see. But generally, yeah, it's good. It's looking promising for sure. But we can't say any more until we see how it does. I mean, we ultimately won't know. Sure, there you go. Other news: AAA, they announced today that they're actually the official announcement that they're coming to El Rey Network in 2014. Apparently, it's going to be in the second half of the year. They're going to be on major US TV. Well, a major is, I guess, relative here. How do you think that'll do? Because we saw how Lucha Libre USA did effectively on weren't they on MTV2 or something? I'm not sure how bigger of a network El Rey is. I mean, it's very clever that they're going after the
It's
Latino
new, isn't it? El Rey, is
market,
this a new thing they just set up?
Yeah, it's only starting up this year. With a direct target market of that Latino American base, the sort of English speaking and Latino speaking Americans in sort of the Florida region. Well, not specifically in Florida, but all around that area. And it's very clever that someone is actually targeting this market. How successful it'll be, I don't know. But and for AAA to hop on the bandwagon, very good idea as well.
I just feel like too much wrestling, and that's it. And that's the other thing that
Yeah, this is just for
well,
Mexicans.
yeah, but they do, they do watch the other stuff. I mean, it's interesting. We'll see. I mean, because they are going for a specific demographic, as for every other wrestling company who's wants one more bite of that ever decreasing pie. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I think TNA, going back to TNA briefly, was their issue was they had never an established market. They just went to eat the whole cake. You know what I mean?
No.
No. Well, TNA was never.
I mean their own niche of fan.
Yeah, TNA was never a regional company. It just went straight national. Like it was like people always say about ECW was that ECW grew too fast for itself, but TNA almost even bypassed the stage ECW were at, because ECW was essentially a regional promotion in Philadelphia, with an established, locally an established fan base that they knew every time they had a show, fans would come and pay for it. And TNA have never had that local fan base. You know, they were in Orlando. Were they an Orlando-based company? For sure, but were they an Orlando regional company? No, because no one in Orlando paid to come see their shows, effectively.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how TNA do, especially AAA, because I watched that Triple Mania show from this year, or from last year now, and I didn't like it at all. So
one thing I was this is more TNA ROH indie issue. I saw some conversation when the network was announced about how the network was going to make indie DVDs and things like that look way overpriced, because it's major league production, good quality wrestling as WWE has today for a tenner, and it's all online, it's all slick and all this. More so than the value standpoint, I think where other companies are going to suffer from the WWE network is just no one is ever going to thirst for wrestling after the launch of this network. We're already seeing with 3-hour Raws that people are saturated with wrestling. Now it's why would you, if you're unless you're a diehard TNA, which as we discussed, very few of them actually exist. If you get the network, who is going to be not enough wrestling in my life? You know what I mean? I mean, they have literally more than 24 hours of content a day. They have a 24-hour stream and a vault full of thousands of hours of content. It's I don't see where the need for more wrestling is going to be. I think this is going to be one of those things where I think the worst thing WWE is doing to its competitors is drowning them in WWE content. Regardless of quality, they're churning out so much stuff that it's who wants more? You know what I mean? Even if TNA was the best shit in the world, it's I get more than my fill with Raw alone, let alone SmackDown, let alone a network.
Yeah.
But yeah, so time will tell with AAA. As you say, that's going after a very particular niche. You probably aren't going to be getting the network, so that's interesting.
Yeah, well, apparently there were there was flooding in most parts of the UK and Ireland over the last week. I believe coming from tears in the London area when one of Joe's favourite wrestling women, was released this week. The gargantuan Caitlyn is no longer going to be on our TVs because Caitlyn has left the WWE universe. How very sad.
I was already over it, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Once she got engaged to that big, muscly fella with the very small head.
Oh, why?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure she'll be very successful in her future endeavours, whatever that involves.
Well, apparently she's got some project lined up with her man. Probably some kind of steroid or something, if I was to guess.
I bet it's supplements for women, bodybuilding women or something.
Yeah, it'd be a nice little niche market for her to pick out for sure.
Yeah, it's probably better than fucking wrestling, isn't it? Schlepping your way around the US and getting beaten by Oksana.
She's the latest one to just not even get fired, just decide, fed up with this now. This is a bit rubbish. We're going to go do something else.
Well, I mentioned on Twitter how it's a bit of a coincidence that Batista is just coming back and Caitlyn leaves at the same time. It's suspicious, isn't it?
What in what way?
Well, I've never seen them in the same room at once.
He use makeup to cover up his hideous tattoos when he's Caitlyn? No way, yeah. But yeah, Caitlyn's gone. I mean, she'd gotten better. She was okay. She had more personality than an awful lot of them.
Well, she had more personality a month into her run.
Yeah, that was evident straight away. That was interesting. Oh well. Yeah. I mean,
it was suspicious when they just stopped using her as a champion, during the summer. She was a champion, and then she just stopped being on Raw for weeks. Like, it was as if something had happened back then, and she just never recovered from it.
Maybe she asked about leaving, and it was like, you want to leave? Then you shall be punished.
Yeah. Shame, because they still somehow have people like Rosa Mendes and Oksana under contract. How are they still there?
I don't know. It's mental.
Because people are fucking leaving of their own free will so much these days that they don't have enough people to just fire them because they suck. They need to hold on to the few that they have. Although,
but they do have some good people, good women.
it feels like ages since they called someone up. The closest we've gotten to quote unquote calling up is Summer Rae, who is good, but you know, she just kind of very small role, you know, on TV. There was a great Fandango Renee Young interview on Main Event. She's like, it was just really funny. Like Fandango, I really like Fandango, and he's like, I've got something up my sleeve for Xavier Woods, and Renee Young was like, you don't have any sleeves, and he's like, you're not a lady, and you're not even a proper journalism, and then he walked off. It was like, did he just say proper journalism? It was like, oh, it was great. And then Summer Rae gave Renee a dirty look.
But that's like the sort of stuff they should have on TV. That sort of stuff where a character is built somehow.
They had a pretty interesting interview with Renee Young on the website, actually. They did like a profile of her.
Yeah. Side profile? Wow.
They have some weirdly good stuff on the website of late. It seems like they've made a bit of an effort to have it.
Well, why did they have so much not good on the TV?
That's true. Fucking hell, we better hurry here because we still got like old school Raw to talk about, which was, you know.
Jake Roberts came back.
Yeah,
that's Raw covered.
Actually, yeah, I don't think anything else did happen on Raw.
It was shite.
Dolph Ziggler got concussion.
Yeah, it sounded bad.
His second in a year, or 9-month period actually. Apparently he's alright, but that's a bit worrying that he keeps getting concussions now. That's what ended Bret Hart's career, goddammit. And he had a stroke. I'm just picturing Dolph Ziggler having a stroke now. That's so bad.
Hilarious.
I bet you take such a good bump off a stroke. I'm just looking for some other bits and pieces of news. Ryback had a bit of a on Twitter. I'm sure it's a work.
I think so. I enjoy his Twitter very much. I also enjoyed him on commentary a lot this week. he does the face an awful lot.
I'm sure he's not been.
It doesn't matter if I lose, I still win.
He's brilliant. Ken Shamrock also tweeted Vince McMahon asking to talk with him this week. The 49-year-old Ken Shamrock, who's now working as a bodyguard for 50 Cent,
you're desperate when A, you're tweeting them asking for a job, and B, you're tweeting the obviously not run by Vince McMahon Twitter. Like, there's no way that's the actual Vince McMahon running that thing, tweeting things like Misco Inferno. When that was, I think my life peaked when Vince McMahon tweeted, tune into SmackDown to see like Mizco Inferno twerking or whatever the fuck he said. I was like, God, the idea that Vince McMahon said that repulses me. Anyway,
what's this twerking shit I'm hearing?
I think there's some other news. Oh, Ric Flair is in trouble again. Arrest warrants, I think. Can't remember. Didn't bother reading, to be honest. I saw that and I was like, yeah, right. More of that.
And speaking of old people, Mae Young passed.
Or did she? She didn't, did she? Remember?
Did she not?
She's still hanging on. It's like 5 days later. She's still alive.
Hang on. Let me have a look at it. Mae Young's not dead?
I have not seen...
Okay, she wasn't even on life support.
Apparently she's not dead, but is gravely ill.
That was like
Right.
They took her off life support. The report was that she was dead, and then they're like, no, she's not dead. She's gravely ill, and that was like 5 days ago, and she's still not dead. So she's my pick for the Rumble, honestly.
I bet she died, right? And the doctor was writing up the report. Whatever. He's like, she woke up and give it to me stronger, doctor. Don't hold back. Back to life. She'll never die, Mae Young. I can't believe she's not dead. I'm sure she was dead.
It's bizarre.
Oh my god. Mae Young. 1923. 90 years old. Fuck it out. Anyway, Mae Young's not dead. Sorry about that.
Jeff Jarrett's
Well,
starting a new
allegedly, yeah.
promotion with a
Allegedly.
country and
Yeah,
western
Toby
singer.
Keith was apparently the big name who came very close to buying TNA. Apparently it didn't happen. He is close ties with Jeff Jarrett. Toby Keith,
Who?
the country singer guy. Not really.
Big name, is it? Oh, well, of course, in America they love all the Georgia Line men, whatever that fucking band was.
He sold 40 million albums, Paul.
To who?
Rednecks.
Pete.
Actually, saying that, I read this week he's actually a Democrat. I thought he was one of those.
So those people who also's
Country
trucks don't work and also whose pooch died. You know. So basically,
Someone's
no,
cooch
pooch with a
died.
P.
They
No.
went there for
So so Jeff Jarrett might be starting a new promotion. Your man apparently has a lot of money and ties to the television industry. So again, it's like, do we need another one? We don't. Like with ROH and TNA, we barely have between them are barely a functional wrestling company. You know.
Yeah.
It's going to be like AAA. They're aiming to
Hicks.
reach people who speak redneck and English.
Yeah.
So
James Storm will be surely high on there.
The
Two
other question is
sides.
like between TNA and WWE, not necessarily ROH, but like I think a lot of the people you'd want to sign are tied up. Not that there isn't plenty of talented folk on the indies you could scoop up, but
I hear Jeff Jarrett's available. So there's your world champion.
Champion for
so yeah,
6 years.
that's that. I mean,
That's basically all the news. I was going to have a little look over here on 411 Mania. And none of their sidebar headlines are about women's arses. Have they have a new management or something?
a slow week of arse. So I think we can probably jump straight into old school Raw.
Yeah, Old School Raw was my favourite show of the year in 2012. We're only one show into 2014, and I don't think it's my favourite show of the year. I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Well, I thought it was okay. Yeah. Like I enjoyed the cameos for what they were. The two cool ones specifically.
The two cool ones, the only, and the Jake Roberts were really the only two where I was sort of excited to see someone I've not seen in years. Because it's always the IRS, Sergeant Slaughter. You know,
Could not
I mean,
believe Sergeant Slaughter.
when are you
going
gonna do a show like that?
as well? I was like, God, you see him every
and danced.
month. He's there for some kind of skit or something. When was the last time we saw Aaron Anderson do anything? I thought he was going to win for sure. That was, by the way, if you didn't see it, we were cursed with a rematch between Great Khali and Damien Sandow, and you got to vote for a referee on the app, and it was Backlund, Slaughter, or Anderson, and they voted Slaughter. And Great Khali won, so I guess they're having another match next week, I would assume.
I don't think so. I think two is
so
enough.
do I, but I think they're going to do one anyway because gotta squash the beef, you know.
I don't think they will. I think what happened was Sandow obviously messed up the pin the first week, so they're like, right, fucker, he's pinning you now, and then that's it.
Show him
That's
how
his
it's done,
punishment,
Khali.
effectively. Pin him. He's gotta pet him.
Main event was
So yeah, I mean,
CM Punk. Good match. Well, good match towards the end.
it was. Reigns is very capable
And
nowadays.
he was, in fact, the only member of the Shield to beat CM Punk. So there you go.
Yeah.
And then they built up to that earlier in the evening with a Piper's Pit with the Shield.
I thought the Piper's
Yeah,
Pit
I
was
liked
good as well.
Ambrose and Ambrose and Piper. That was kind of something a lot of people were probably hoping for. And it was good. It was good. I like Ambrose.
This show was almost a wet dream of sorts for Ambrose. Because he got to have that little pro where Roddy Piper and had the snake put on him at the end.
See that video WWE put up on their YouTube? It was like a promo. It was like a pre-match promo they'd air on pay-per-view for Jake Roberts versus Dean Ambrose. They like cut it together as though they were actually having a match, and so like as if they were cutting promos on it. It was cool. It was well done. I think they've it's like, I don't know if you saw God, what was that video game? Legends of WrestleMania. It was one or 2 years ago. WWE put out a WrestleMania game where it was like, you can do Austin versus Punk, and they released like Austin versus Punk hype packages, and they were really cool. They did that for Ambrose and Jake Roberts. It was really good, really good.
Do you think we're gonna get Roberts in the Royal Rumble then?
I don't know.
Or maybe.
I think they will.
There won't be much point with this. It's only the surprise factor that's.
Well, he's been looking for it all year. I'm sure he's had a word in some people's ears. You know, it's just a throwaway spot. Who are they going to bring fucking Bob Backlund back out again? So people care about Roberts. I mean, they didn't hear it because this crowd was fucking dead as a doo-doo.
But also they just didn't book any of the legends that well. I don't think.
Yeah,
they just didn't. They were just sort of randomly came out.
I think Jake Roberts in the Royal Rumble would be one of those really memorable moments they'd be putting on countdown shows in 2014 on the WWE.
I think he'd be fine in there. I mean, look, even though the surprise is kind of ruined by this, it's the Rumble. You got to have some novelty spots in there. That would actually.
It's still a surprise in the Rumble. Him wrestling in the Rumble is still.
He didn't DDT anyone.
Surprise, you know?
Especially if he wins it.
He's gonna face Brock
and wrestles Dean Ambrose WrestleMania.
Especially when it's eliminated by Hulk Hogan. That'd be amazing.
What they should do is have the Royal Rumble just be the one guy who's going to win it and 29 guys from the 80s. That's what I want to watch. And then you just have, like on Raw for so many weeks we've had, you just have the whole roster stood up on the ramp, confused, just having to watch this. Why none of them are in? That'd be a good one.
Speaking of guys in their 80s, they did announce that Batista would be in the Rumble.
Oh my god, I didn't think that's where you're going to go. That was a good swerve. Yeah, Batista's going to be in the Rumble. That'd be a good... the only problem I have with it is, if they announce that he's going to be in the Rumble, why are they bringing him back on Raw on the 20th? Just have him return at the Rumble then.
They need to hype it.
But they are. They can hype it with videos.
No,
I feel I know, like when John Cena came back, they advertised him for Hell in a Cell and they didn't put him on TV. But that's different because it's fucking John Cena. He's there all the time anyway. Batista, I think it would probably. I think they're probably right to put him on telly, have him do the fucking machine gun entrance and spine bust somebody and say basketballs don't want blank.
Which would you mark out most for? Okay, the machine gun entrance or the spotlight
easily.
My fear. I think they should bring him back as a heel. I know that they're not gonna, and I know he's gonna be babyface, and he's gonna do a machine gun, and everyone go, yeah, and he'll go, duh, 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 and he'll come out and go, basketballs don't fight back, and he'd be like, in the Royal Rumble, throwing people over the rope isn't just encouraged. It's welcome. And,
I think he might be a babyface, but keep some of that old shtick he used to have. Maybe
we'll get a hybrid Batista where he'll do the machine gun and then the spotlight.
Do you think he's gonna incorporate some of his MMA offense into his new ring work?
What? Nearly get knocked the fuck out 2 seconds into a match. Only if he wrestles Ryback, I think that might happen.
But he can have a shoot match with Alberto Del Rio.
he was just as shy as Batista.
So that, first of all, I think that's unlucky for Batista. I mean, fair enough they give him someone he can steamroller over, but geez, talk about a lackluster return. He's probably going to be feuding with that guy. But they had a little bit of a Twitter exchange. Alberto Del Rio said, Batista, I was winning major titles while you were getting beaten up by that plumber, I think he called him, Vince Lucero. And he said he'd see him in the Rumble, and then Batista got very annoyed and said, certain B-level stars in C-level eras shouldn't be working themselves into a shoot, and that apparently annoyed a lot of people because he buried the entire locker room, and he buried the entire era, not just the entire locker room. But so that was amusing.
Well, he's been publicly critical of the whole PG thing anyway.
Yeah,
so.
He sucks. So yeah, that's happening. What has happened on this show? We had Piper's Pit, which we discussed. Too cool. Jake Roberts came out, as we said, after the main event. He didn't do anything other than just walk up the ramp and put the snake on Dean Ambrose. The crowd were into it, but not huge. Like not as huge as you would have expected the Rumble pop to be.
But the crowd wasn't a particularly lively crowd for the whole show.
What did John Cena do on this show? I don't remember.
He was there at the start during the promo with...
Orton squared off with Flair, and they had a promo.
with
Cena
Flair.
was there. I don't remember what Cena.
I think that's all Cena did. He didn't have a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
Strange.
I don't think Orton had one either. I'm not sure. But
Brock was there.
He
of course.
beat up Mark Henry again, I believe.
Yeah, broke his arm with the Kimura.
And then Big Show plundered out and threw him across the ring.
Yeah. And Brock Lesnar.
Brock did
Yeah.
a Ziggler bump out of the ring.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar took a hip throw onto his own head, as Lesnar tends to do these days. Thank God his neck is as thick as a redwood.
Yeah, he can't even feel it, probably.
No, I think he was alright. Probably just went out and headbutted the wall or something when he was done. Yeah. I watched a Botchamania recently where Booker T was having a match with somebody, and he was talking about how or was it someone else who was wrestling Booker T possibly? How normally when you do a throw like this, you take one step and throw, but the person who was wrestling had done one step, two step and throw, so that there's not so much ring for you to take a bump in, effectively. And it almost seemed like that's what happened here. Like Big Show took one step extra before he actually threw Brock. Like there was like a little hesitation, and then Lesnar had to adjust to land on his own head. I'm not so excited about Big Show and Lesnar really, unless they do it in a way where Lesnar just fucking throws this chap around, like they did before. Survivor Series 2002. Lesnar did an overhead belly throw on the Big Show, and F5'd him.
Yeah, I really hope he beats him pretty quickly. Like 5-6 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happening. Oh well. So much for the Big E Langston thing, because it doesn't seem like they're going there that direction anymore.
Good.
Big Show. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all that happened on this show.
Yes.
Sin Cara was beaten by Del
God,
Rio.
yeah, those two again.
And
Already off the Sin Cara train again.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, he's not very good to be fair, but you know.
there's nothing more to say about Sin Cara, really.
They're putting out a twin
It's
pack
been
of
a
him and
failed
Scooby Doo when that
experiment.
film comes out, though. Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that why they keep
Possibly.
him around? Of course, because he's in that thing for some reason.
He's got the mask.
But that was raw.
Weird.
I watched Impact, but I don't feel like talking about it. It was stupid. They did a big
It was
silly
great.
Russo Jeff
so
Jarrett
Go
main
on,
event
Jeff.
Oh, it
thing.
was brilliant. It's
Bully
great.
Ray is ruined.
That was
horrible,
hilarious.
so horrible. So basically, Mr. Anderson goes into a church, right, for whatever reason, and Bully Ray's sitting in the corner. It was a
And was
funeral
it a funeral
that was
parlour?
And I think it was where they had the Aces and Eights funeral. And Bully Ray is sitting on the back row, and he's basically a hybrid AJ Styles Mopey character from last year, and I guess knockoff Bray Wyatt. And he's Bully Ray, yeah. So he. Oh yeah, Anderson went into the parlor, and sitting at the back was Bully Ray, who was doing that shtick.
Okay.
And his shtick also, by the way, now involves threatening to set people on fire, so that's good. And he just gives off a bunch of lame, fake dialogue, overly dramatic. They're playing the broody music because that has made a big comeback in Impact in recent weeks. It's very hokey. It's about a million miles from the cool, tough guy Brooklyn character that Bully Ray's been doing for the last year or so successfully. Not only very bad, but also very frustrating to see. After all the good stuff Bully Ray's been doing, to see him stuck with this. And basically, the scene ended when he said he gave Mr. Anderson a gift. Anderson looked in the casket, and there was communion.
Was it Don West?
It looked like basically like communion gowns for kids or something. It was not Mae
Was it
Young.
Mae Young?
It was not Mae Young.
She set up like the Undertaker.
It was like a pair of like communion gowns for kids or something like that. And then
Is what happened when Bully Ray powerbombed Mae Young off the stage in 2000 that he killed her, and it's been a replacement of Mae Young ever since. Like they did with Ultimate Warrior.
But Anderson got that gift out of the casket, and he turned around, and Bully Ray was gone. Ooh, so he's a ghost.
was he hiding under a
I
table?
guess he's a ghost. But anyway,
Was he standing beside a door for the promo and then just walk out the door?
And I don't remember anything else. What else happened?
Angle had a handicap cage match against
Yeah.
Bad Influence and won.
Sting and
good.
Bobby Roode also had a cage. They're doing a cage match next week with Roode and Angle. So to set that up, the two of them had separate cage matches this week. So that was good.
To build up to the cage match next week, they had two cage matches this week.
Yeah.
Oh my god, only TNA would do that.
So Sting faced.
WWE should do 2 Royal Rumbles.
They should do
this
the
week.
corporate Rumble again. The
build up to the main
authoritative Rumble. But anyway, so they had 2 cage matches. Kurt Angle beat Bad Influence 2-on-1, which is baffling, but whatever. Sting and Bobby Roode had a match that ended in a vintage TNA finish. They're in a cage match, but of course they had interference to distract from weapon use because you got to do that. What else is on this show? And then they had the main event with Magnus and AJ, which was just a big run-in clusterfuck. Like from within the first 5 minutes, it was a big run-in. The majority of the match.
Yeah, I watched that on the
majority
channel.
of the match was run-ins and shenanigans, and it was mental. But if AJ's coming back, I guess it was the right thing to do. But it wasn't much of a match. The crowd were at least going mental for it, at the very least. So that did not make me want to start rewatching Impact on the regular. I only watched it because they were doing the unification bout. But yeah, that was Impact.
And Joe, what did you think of Impact?
Mainly silly. Some of it was a bit fun. It was okay. It's shit, but
What were the Bromans doing? Were they in it apart from the main event?
Yeah, they were sort of Dixie's goons in this episode.
They're so good.
They were tasked with taking out Joseph Park, so they couldn't help AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And they also helped Magnus retain his title in the main event.
Alright.
very
Rockstar
good.
Spud also did an amusing pratfall when Earl Hebner was kicked out. First of all, Earl Hebner left and he shoved Rockstar Spud, and then Earl Hebner did a run-in later when the other refs were down. He came back into the match, and as he was getting into the ring, Rockstar Spud did a ridiculous slow-motion dive to try and catch Earl Hebner before he got into the ring, and just missed him by a mile and face-planted on the ground. And they didn't even draw attention to it. It was just out of the corner of the frame, you could just see Rockstar Spud flying through the air and falling on his face. That was amusing. I like Rockstar Spud in his current role. So that's good. So that was it. I think at that we can wrap up this show. Let me think. Maybe forgetting anything. No, I think that's it. Okay, so at ChairShotPodcast.com for your episode archive and your contact us page where you can send myself, Joe, or Paul an email about whatever's on your mind, wrestling-wise or otherwise, I should say. ChairShot Pod on Twitter, where you can go for general musings and live tweets and everything else. It's also where you can send us feedback, questions, whatever you want to say. The Barry Lad is myself on Twitter. Griff Tannen is Joe, and Paul Griffin CSP is Paul. So you can go there and keep up to date with us in our daily lives. And I think that is everything. Make sure you send us an email. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Give us a like on Facebook. We still do have a Facebook page. Review on iTunes, I guess, if you care. All that good stuff. You know what to do. Podcast stuff. So, with that said, it's goodbye from
YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube.
Subscribe to our YouTube as well. Every show goes up on YouTube.
If you're not a big podcast guy, but you like listening to the show, you can pop us up on YouTube and just stream the whole show there. Great new feature courtesy of Paul. And so check that out. And we'll be back next week with more fun and games. So for now, it is goodbye from myself, Brian Murphy. Goodbye. It is goodbye from Joe Tanner. Bye-bye. And it's goodbye from Mr. Paul Griffin.
See you.
loudspeak.com.